My name is Martin Kenny. I'm a student of flat earth geocentric science, cosmology, astrology, anthropology, and spirituality. Over the last few years, I've dedicated my life to trying to rediscover and share the true secrets of who we are, and where we're going.
And my name is Norb Chufis. I'm an artist, producer, and enthusiast of the divine arts and vibrations. I'm also a student of Martin's work and have the privilege of being his conduit to present this information to you in an engaging way. The yin to the yang of this beautiful body of knowledge, research, and intelligence. You ever wonder, who or what are we? And are there others like us? Where are we? And are there other places like this? When and how did we get here? And have we been here before? What are we doing? Why on earth are we here? How did all this life begin? And where are we going? On December 21st, 2018, join us as we explore these questions in detail. Our cosmic cycles of space, time, and matter of the past, present, and future, using syncretic research, combining scriptures, mythologies, holy books, science, cosmology, observable reality, and inner knowing. Mother Nature meets Father Time, a 168,000-year journey into our existence, our time capsule, our home. It's quarter past the fifth epoch. Do you know where your consciousness is? For those with eyes to see and ears to hear, the year 2020 marks one of the most important events in our history. Let us help you prepare, understand, and be aware of the changes to come in our world. Universal disclosure, the master oscillation. We also encourage you to re-upload this video, get the word out, and redub it in your language. Thank you, and see you on December 21st.
Man, Norb kills it every time. That's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to that. I don't know what the hell's happening in 2020, but I want to know now. Well, welcome, everybody. I just wanted to get that out of the way. Let's get our introductions out of the way now. Let's say hello real quick to one Mr. Zachary Zabala. I see his smiling face right up in front of me, so I'm just going to go to him first. Zach, how are you doing? We had a really good conversation.
Oh. It has been a wonderful day, man. We had an awesome show this morning. I got to hang out with Jamie Brown on his channel for a while. Got a couple hats made. It's just been a very good day. Paul on the Plane is inspired me to ask for a little more help for maybe trying to get me to the Flat Earth Conference, so we can have somebody from IRM there. And it's been a wonderful day, man. I love this Friday. This is one of my favorite Fridays yet.
It is a hell of a Friday. TGIF.
It's Friday, my dudes.
All right. Since we're talking ironworks, let me head on over and talk to one Mr. Walter Johnson. Walt, did you get a good nap in?
Man, you always bust me on my naps. You know I'm old, and Friday I have to catch up some sleep after all the excitement we have in the mornings over there on TFR. And this morning, it was amazing. And I'm excited to hear you're going to be there, Zach. I'm definitely doing what I can to make it happen so that I can be there for sure, if it's not going to be the team group we hoped it would be.
I mean, it's possible I get there. I would have to basically fly out of here on a Friday afternoon, and I'd have to leave there at some point, as long as I can make it back to work by 6:30 a.m. on Monday.
That's how I used to have to do those other conventions I'd go to. I'd literally leave work and have the car packed on some of them so I can make it to the first speaker.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I just don't know if it's going to happen. If it doesn't, then I think Zach should have a sizable chunk of money coming his way, because I don't think his bill is going to be too much, at least not his airfare. But we want to get him a little more so he can like eat and
actually live, right?
Right, all that good stuff. Say hi to people, and I'm sure there's going to be all sorts of cool swag, whatever it is. I've heard it called both ways, but whatever it is, you'll be sporting swag once you start sporting the swag. So I think that'll be cool if we could all get out there. But at least we'll have somebody, hopefully, from Iron Rail Media out there. We had big plans. Once upon a time, not even that long ago. We had Mr. Adam Meakin here was talking about trying to fly over here to the U.S. for the first time to experience what it's like a few days here in the States. But Adam, you said it's not looking like it's going to go that way, huh? You might get stuck. Well,
I think I'm going to have to plan for the third one, mate. It's just a little too near, and I'm a little too skint at the moment, so it's plan for the third, but hopefully we can get Zack there, and that'll be as good. That'll do.
That will do.
Give me an iron stick.
But you've had a good week so far, otherwise?
Yeah, loved it. Busy at work. Laid a patio. I've had a look. It is flat. There might be a bit of convexity, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I've had a busy week, but an enjoyable week, mate. It's good to get in the garden and do a bit of exercise as well. So yeah, all good. And other than that, I've had a pretty Zack-filled week myself. My flat Earth stuff. I've been enjoying what Zack's been doing and that. So
yeah, that's going to be fun. We're going to get into that here in a little bit. I'm going to have to jet out of here in just a few minutes, like 10, 15 minutes. But I should be back. But we have Brendon Daily coming up, and he's got some awesome stuff going on. He is still down in Honduras. He was out visiting some of the Caribbean islands, or Caribbean islands. Just depends on your emphasis of the syllables, I guess. But he just recently got back to the mainland, basically as of yesterday. But he had some big news before he went out onto the ocean. Apparently he had made a video and then went and was eating or doing something like offline, away from the keyboard, and he got back to his phone or his laptop, whatever he's using, and saw just all these messages. He's like, wow, what in the world blew up here? So he clicked on one, and there is one Mr. Mick West, just sort of bad-mouthing and belittling him. So well, we all know Brendon, so not to be out talked by Mick West, Brendon got in there and just started giving him hell. But actually got Mick to agree to a debate against him. This was his one stipulation, as long as he was polite and civil, which, I mean, that's a given, I think, at this point. Well, no, not really. But as long as he was courteous, civil, polite, all that good stuff, then he would be willing to sit down and debate Brendon. So I'm going to get the skinny on that. I want to hear the lowdown exactly what's going to happen, what the latest is, because it's been probably almost a week since that all went down. So I'm curious to hear what the latest is. And he'll be here probably in about a half hour, so we'll probably catch up to him at the top of the next hour. But yeah, in the meantime, Zach has had some awesome stuff going on. Zach, you want to tell a little bit of let's just go over some of the videos you've put out recently, because really it has been a Zach-filled week lately.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of survival videos, I guess you could call them, like living the nomad life. I'm just trying to, share all this knowledge that I'm learning while I'm out here. It's really been, it's been interesting, really. I mean, trying to live off the land and just some of the stuff that I've learned in reading, and like how to find water out in the desert, what to look for, how to start a match, or how to start a fire with one match, things like that. I can't even remember some of the other videos I put out. I've been trying to put out at least one video a day.
Well, you did a really good one on circulation. Well, wait a minute. Before we get into this real quick, I was just thinking, we know about your rice experiment, and that's why we call you too nice for rice, right? Because you just couldn't get the mold to grow. You're too nice. You know how much mad you have? You're zero mad. You are no mad. You are the nomad.
Oh, sorry. That's nice.
I love it. I love it. Oh, I love it.
Wow. That was good. I'm going to steal that one.
Please do. I had to get it out before I forgot it. Please continue.
I made a few hats.
Write it down. I'm sure. I
raided a couple hemp places. I got all kinds of hemp. I'm working on making all kinds of hats. The place I'm at right now, really cool guy. He's a rock climber, and I started talking to him about flat Earth, and he was all into it. I just mentioned, he's like, "Oh yeah, I've looked into it, and there's a lot of really good." When you ask somebody that's not a flat earther about flat Earth, they kind of dance around the subject a little, and they don't want to come on and say, "Oh yeah, I believe the Earth is flat." Well, that's exactly what he did, and I'm coming back here for sure. Sooner or later, I'm going to come back here and hang out with these guys. He actually ordered 4 hats off me. He's going to buy 4 hats off me to sell here at his shop, and if they do good, he's going to order more. I'm going to give him my information. He said he'd give me a buzz, and it's been a wonderful week. I don't know how to say it any better than that. It's been awesome. Hank's doing great. He's missing his buddy. He made a dog friend last week, and they've been apart for a few days, so he's been kind of in the dumps. But we've been going on walks and stuff and having fun. But yeah, it's been an awesome week, guys. I'm loving having an internet connection again, so I can put out all this stuff. I figured out a way to turn my phone off of the LTE so the 3G will at least work, so I can upload stuff wherever I am. And that changed everything out here, really.
I bet it did. Well, I'm glad to hear. I was going to say, I'm glad to hear that Hank's handmade hemp hats are really taking off. I'm sporting one right now as we speak, as are you.
I'm waiting for one to take off.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming at him.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to receiving mine.
Hey, Zach, is there any possible way your average Joe or Jane out there on the plane could somehow get their own Hank's handmade hemp hats by the Nomad?
Is that without my way of constant begging?
Well, that is one way.
Yeah, I started just for a little help because this guy that I met has really opened my eyes to how many people out there are, looking for truth and living a nomad life. And he talked me into traveling out to Arizona, Western Arizona, where there's meetups of hundreds, if not over 1,000 people that are going to be meeting up. And I didn't quite have all the funds to do all this. So I started a GoFundMe. And just for a little perk, if you donate, a certain amount, it's in the GoFundMe thing, and $50, then I will make you a hat full of love, and I'll send it out to you. Just send me your address or a P.O. box or whatever, or if you're close enough, I'll even come and bring it to you. I'm
hand delivered. Now, I guess there's really no good way to charge extra for that, because they'd have to be, within driving distance. You can't just say you're going to deliver it to anybody. So they have to be
no,
close.
That's what I said. If they're close enough and they're willing to let me throw up a tent in their yard for the night,
I was going to say, at least charge a cup of tea and a sandwich for that.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, just something to give back, because there's already been so much support. I thank you all that have, and it's been overwhelming, really. I can't even express how grateful I am. Just in this last week since I started, you all have really answered the call, and really warmed my heart.
Well, we love you, Zach. You're worth every penny. That and more. You're worth your weight in iron.
Absolutely.
No, just keep up them videos, bruv. Both types. You know what I mean? Both your adventures and also the science ones as well. I think that's you do that. I think that's why. I watched it before we ever met. You know what I mean? It was that Eunice that I always enjoyed. You know what I mean? Just dipping into. So just keep it up, bruv, and I'm sure the universe will help you carry on this journey, mate. Because it's a pleasure watching it. You lucky bugger.
I used to have a pet rat that was named Eunice. For what it's worth. That's why it caught me off guard. Just all that Eunice. Wait a minute. I don't know Eunice. Who the hell is Eunice?
I meant in an unrodent-like way. No,
well, what else we got?
Well, I was gonna I want to touch on.
Yeah. I was gonna say
one of the videos, but later on. Yeah.
Right, but we want to wait until Brendon gets here before we sort of tackle some of that.
We'd like his 2 pennies worth, wouldn't we? Really, I think on that. So,
well, here's a good one. I made reference to it. Reminded you, Zach, that video you made about staying warm. I think there's just some really good general info in there for people, especially at least here in the States as it starts to get a little cooler. I think people need to keep in mind that just as a general rule, not necessarily if you're nomadic. There you
Did I lose you?
Nope. Okay. We're just waiting for you.
Oh, yeah. It's all about circulation, folks. I was tucking my pajama bottoms. I would roll them and tuck them into my socks, thinking that was going to help keep me warmer. And my feet kept getting so cold. And then it dawned on me that maybe I'm cutting off the circulation. Maybe I'm not getting enough circulation because I was sweating. I have a negative 30-degree sleeping bag, and I was in all the sleeping bags. I had it all, it was good for negative 30, but my feet were still cold. So I pulled my pant legs out of my socks, and I pushed my socks down a little bit, made them a little looser. And within 10, 15 minutes, my feet were nice and warm and toasty. And it never dawned on me that, hey, just cutting off your circulation a little bit will make your extremities colder. And I'm not tucking my pants into my socks anymore. That's for sure. It helped out tremendously. Yeah, that was one that I just kind of stumbled on. It wasn't anything I read or anything like that. And it's just kind of common sense, but it had never dawned on me before. And I'd always done that. And my feet have always been cold. But yeah, and that's the kind of stuff I want to share with you. Stuff like that, just the little things, that little tips and tricks of the trade to make life a little bit simpler out here if you're on the road or even at your house.
Whilst we're on the subject of the community helping people, and you was chatting about the conference, nearly said convention. There's a lady I know that could do with a little bit of help, and there's a GoFundMe out there, guys. I'll find it and stick it in the chat in a minute. But it's Nora's No One's Flower. I know she's trying to get herself over to the States from Ireland. So I'm sure if you type No One's Flower, Nora Noonan, GoFundMe, it'll pop up. So if you've got a spare quid there as well, give her a shout. I'm going to stick a couple of quid in myself now. Now I'm definitely not going. All hope has gone. So I'm going to stick a couple of quid in myself. So just something I wanted to give a shout out whilst we're on that as well, guys. We lost Josh now.
Yeah, it'd be great to meet her in person.
Give her a shout out on your vids next week, mate. It'll help, I think.
Oh yeah, we'll do. For sure. I actually did something I haven't done in a while today. I did the another few chapters in the Alchemy book, which felt great. There's a couple people in there that were just all about it. One guy even went and bought the book. He can't wait to get it, he said. But I love doing that because it's not just reading the book. I kind of read, and then when that little hint of inspiration strikes, I throw in my 2 cents as well. And I love sharing that kind of knowledge with y'all. The magic of alchemy and how it has changed my life.
It's chapters 10 and 11, weren't it? He was doing.
Yeah, and I did 12. I couldn't stop.
You did.
I just had to keep going.
I saw you were on, but I was at work. So, again, another thing I'll catch up with over the weekend, bro. But yeah, another thing, mate. I do love that alchemy. I'm starting to learn via your readings. To be perfectly honest, it's easier to do that, stick it on, and listen to it while I'm pottering. You know what I mean? But yeah, I caught you in the tent reading. Was Karen B in the chat or something? I turned it on, saw you there. Yeah, there was quite a few.
She stopped in.
Few folks chatting in there and that.
Yeah, it was nice. It was a good little chat this morning. And even if there's just one person, if there's one person in there watching it, then that's enough for me to just keep going. Because that one person could turn around and they could change the world with information. So quantity isn't all that important to me. It's just if I have one person that I can help out or teach something to, then that's enough for me. But I thank everybody who was there. It was fun this morning. I miss doing that. I really do. Made me miss my gardens a little bit, but I went out. Well, I didn't say. Taking all kinds of pictures of some amazing plants out here. There's actually a plant here. I'm at the Hueco Mountains in Texas, El Paso, Texas. And there's a plant here that is not known to grow anywhere else across the plain. But they don't allow dogs there. So tomorrow the owner said he'd watch Hank for a couple hours so I could go down there and check out this plant and take some pictures. And yeah, it's a very cool place here. The Hueco Mountain Climbing Club, it's called, or climbing shop. Owner is awesome. Talked to him about flat Earth a little bit, and he was so open to it. He had already looked into it a lot, and he knows that there's something to it. And it's just a very neat place, a very welcoming place. And for $3 a night, you can't beat it. For a bathroom with that flushes and a shower and free internet, I mean, if it wasn't for all this stuff going on out in the desert, I would probably just live here. Really, because it's beautiful here in El Paso. I could take 1,000 pictures easily.
Does the border run straight through it? Through the town?
No, it's just southwest of here is the border. It's not very far. I was actually thinking about, there's a place in Arizona, I guess, that I'm going to be going to where you can just kind of walk across the border and you don't even need what are they called? Having a brain fart.
Bulletproof vest?
Well, besides that.
Without like a passport or customs or any of that?
Yeah, you don't need your passport or anything like that.
Pretty soon here in the States, you won't be able to travel from state to state on a plane without a passport.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. 2020, I think. Everybody has to have one.
Yeah.
We'll see if it happens. They say a lot of things, don't they? That never come about. But yeah, I'm having great travels, folks. Thank you for all the good wishes and all the prayers out there, and they're working, because I haven't had one hiccup since I started this, and I was not expecting that at all. I try whenever I go to a place to kind of announce my presence to the land. I kind of speak to everything and say hello. Please welcome me and my buddy here. Forgive us for any trespasses that we might have upon you all, and we will forgive you for any of your trespasses against us. We mean you no harm, and as long as you do no harm to us, then we can coexist here for a little while. And it's been very welcoming. It has. That's just the alchemist in me, I guess. Talking to the mountains. I miss the trees, though. That's the one thing that they don't have here in El Paso is trees, and I'm getting homesick of my friends. But soon enough, I'll be leaving for Arizona here Sunday and going to a forest out there. There's supposed to be 30,000 sandhill cranes that come and hang out at this place. So I'm going to be taking all kinds of pictures and videos, and yeah, I can't wait. I'm excited.
So where's that at, Zach? Is that some?
It's in southeastern Arizona, just south of Tucson. It's a
Tucson, that's what you said.
Wildlife management area. Yeah. I'm not sure of the name right now off the top of my head, but I'll be doing some live streams from there, hopefully, or at least putting some videos out for sure.
You could tell you got your Wi-Fi back today, because like I said, you've been everywhere, mate. You were on Jamie Brown today as well. Was that just like, I've got Wi-Fi, I'm back in. Forget nature. Yeah. It's raining. I'm gonna sit in the tent and.
Yeah, it was a rainy day, so I was like, well, I'm gonna see who I can't go and hang out with today. And Jamie Brown, he's always so welcoming. We had a great conversation. I had a lot of fun, and I was doing it while I was. See, once I get to a certain part of my hats, I don't have to pay attention so much. Because when you first start the circles, there's a lot of counting, and I have to, if I want them to look right, I have to pay attention. So I'll do that part, and then once I get to a certain part and I just start making the side of the hat, the wall, I can just go and I don't have to pay attention. I can just, keep going. So that's what I was doing. I was sitting there chatting with Jamie and finishing up on hat number 2 today. Fingers are starting to get sore. I'm taking a little break right now, but I'll be back at it here pretty soon.
Was it general chat I wrote of anything profound?
We were talking a lot about perspective. We jumped all over the place, actually. We were talking about my travels and what I'm doing. Got into some perspective talking, and then we were talking about we even jumped onto the Holocaust and things like that. It was a very interesting chat. It was a good one. And Jamie, he's so, polite, and just, you can tell he's being honest when he speaks. He doesn't like hold back anything, or he's a great host. He is. He's been at it for a while now, and he does it all the time, and he's really got the knack of it.
I like Jamie's show.
I'm not on there. Yeah, I love listening to it. I really do. Yeah. No one's flower. Here. I'm making hemp hats. We call them Hank's Handmade Hemp Hats. And just like the one I'm wearing, I cleared out some stores of their hemp supply. I plan on doing it again here pretty soon. But yeah, I'm selling them on the road, trying to just, keep my funds up a little bit. And the owner of this place actually ordered 4 of them off me. So yeah, I've been busy. And a couple people have donated to the PayPal a bit. So they have a few hemp hats. They have a hemp hat coming each. And of course, Adam's got one coming here real soon. I'll be sending that out here. Yeah, it's a neat little hobby. It's easy, and it's a nice little gift to give somebody. It really is. It's a hemp hat. It'll last a while, and if you don't wear it every day like I do, they'll last forever. I have one it's looking a little bit older. As you wash it and dry it, the hemp will shrink a little bit, the strands. So I buy the heavier gauged hemp. They're not the little. They're durable. And yeah, they've really helped. They've really I know Josh has one, Walt has one, Walt's daughter-in-law has one, Josh's girlfriend has one. The guy that I just met camping with, I made him one. Yeah, it's I don't know, it's one of those things I learned that I'm so glad that I did.
Absolutely.
Thank my mom so much for teaching me.
Yeah, looking forward to mine arrive.
Yeah, pretty soon, Adam. I'll be sending it out here like tomorrow. I'm going to get to it for sure. But I talked to a guy, and he wanted to learn how to play guitar, so I went and helped him pick one out because he wasn't sure what to look for. He would have bought it for what it looks like, and I taught him, no, you don't do that. You buy it for what it sounds like. And he said if money gets tight and real bad, that he'll, because I was just teaching him stuff. And he's like, hey, I'll pay you for guitar lessons, man. And yeah, when you put yourself out there, and the universe really does, it answers. It does answer back. But Adam, I have to thank you for that. You inspired me to bite my tongue and ask for help, and it really is paying off, man. I thank you much, brother. Cause
that's all right, cuz. Keep smashing it, bro. Keep smashing it. Like I said, I'm loving it. I've got plenty to catch up there now. I've still got Walt, give me some space lettuce. I've not had any today, right? I've missed the show. What was the best of today's nonsense?
Well, actually, I have all those tabs closed because I was looking into this whole ID thing, because suddenly it occurred to me as everybody was going, well, they say this and they say that, and that they doubt it's going to happen. my son recently got his ID renewed and everything, and he was told that when he does air travel in this state or from this state, he will have to get a real ID, without a doubt. So I went to dig into that. Right now, there's only about 8 states that are not compliant with this real ID thing, which is something you will have to have in addition to your license. I realize at this point you have to already have ID, your license, and all that to travel. This is an additional real ID. This has been in effect since 2005, signed, and then it's actually been gung-ho since January of this year. And basically, it's going to be by 2020. If you don't have this thing, you will not fly, period. Or get on military bases or get into any other protected area. So there's a lot more to this than just they say at this point. It's been a they say thing since 2005. At this point, it's a they're doing it thing.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm not excited about it at all.
I'm not either. No, I think the tops.
It's funny
Go ahead.
because you can't fly here without a passport. So you know what I mean. There is no.
Right. Well, it's definitely in place at this point. Where did I put the story? It seems to me, if I remember correctly, the story that kind of stood out is the one I based the title of our show today. So there's a new theory that they've thought up. Moons could have moons. So ours doesn't. At least we don't know that it doesn't, or that it does, or whatever. So, but if a moon did have a moon, logically, scientifically, you would have to come up with a name for that. And while there's lots of names that they could have used, moonlet, moonoid, tiny moon, mini moon, submoon,
Secondary satellite, you know, something technical
like that. Yeah, no, it's a
That'd
moon
be
moon.
cool.
Moon
What?
moon. A moon moon. One word, all one word, moon moon is what they've chosen to call the moon of a moon.
Moon.
$50 million a day. Remember that.
Very grown up, that is, isn't it?
It's worse than believing in Santa Claus at this point.
Have we got an example of a moon?
So far, that's just a theory, kind of like dark matter and gravity and evolution. On that front, some serious news. Apparently, 500 scientists have come forward with a... Uh-oh, hold on. We have music going in the background.
That's the Waltons.
Right.
Come on, Jim Bob.
Tell Michelle I said hi.
Oh.
Everybody said, hey, Mary Ellen.
Mary Sue.
Laughed at you.
That's funny.
Good night, John Boy. Shout out to John, who's not with us today.
Yeah, get well, Savage.
I hope you're feeling better, man. Miss you.
I'm looking for the link. Apparently, there are 500 scientists who have signed and gotten into this whole... The theory of evolution isn't scientifically accurate, doesn't meet the facts. A lot of hand waving back in the 19th century doesn't explain what we're looking at these days genetically, blah, blah, blah. The problem with this article that had me excited at the beginning is that it kind of devolves into this whole aliens did it thing. Aliens interfered. It's why we're who we are at this point. It's where the story that we read this morning wound up. So between the president alert, all these weird videos I keep seeing that are just falling out of YouTube daily now, and this kind of push for, they're about to play that alien invasion card. I can smell it. It's right here. It's happening. They're putting it together even as we watch. Because this is on, like I said, 500 scientists are behind this whole thing. I'm trying to find the link to their actual paper. Here it is.
So they're kind of admitting that evolutionary, from an evolutionary sense, it's nonsensical.
Absolutely.
And therefore, this is the full
aliens.
gap. Some aliens.
Aliens did it.
Who? Well, how did they DNA evolve? Did some other alien species come and seed them? It's just an one of them bullshit pushbacks, isn't it? It's
exactly.
Put it there and I can ignore it. Honestly, it's just aliens, or it doesn't answer the genetics issue, does it? It doesn't answer the point that they're actually making, which is that evolution is nonsensical. The foundations of it are never beginnable.
And I was really thinking from something I just recently read, from it may have been from a Christian source even, but that story kind of was along these same lines. But of course it was, not aliens. It was God. So this is a really, hang on, the supper bell's being rung there in the other room. Hold on. Anyway, but definitely it just feels like they're about to play the big car, the big alien car. Fake alien. A lion. Yes. Thank you.
I don't see any of that stuff.
There was something else this morning. Dang it. What was it? Oh, the black hole thing. The Stephen Hawking thing. Apparently Stephen Hawking's last paper on black holes was such a good paper that it put a smile on his face right before he died, literally the day before he died. So it was our little feel-good story. Dang it, Josh is not here to play the sound bite. We need it queued up. Darn it. Anyway.
That is a pretty good impression right there.
That's as good as you'll get in it, I think. Yeah. So what's he saying, Hawkins?
Nah, the story was more about the feel-good aspect of it, and we don't get into the science anymore. It's all a joke. Let me go find the paper, though. Hang on. I did have it.
Of his genius.
All of these things get closed before the show because, my computer sucks. # Walt's computer sucks. Let me close that. And that. Now, we do give a lot of crap about how long he survived with ALS. We do that. We constantly hammer on the fact that most people's life expectancy is 5 years tops. He made it a lot longer than that. However, it slipped my mind completely, being the guitar player that I am. There is a gentleman out there named Jason Becker, who at the age of 19, 29 years ago, got ALS. He was an amazing guitar player, phenomenal guitar player. We would play it here, but we get copyright strikes and have to fight it for 2 days, 3 days after to keep the video up. So we're not going to play it. But not only is he still alive, but they've created a system where he can look at certain positions and it writes things on a screen, and it's truly him and his dad worked this thing out as his disease was progressing and getting worse before he was completely gone. He can compose music. He composes these things. His team kind of uses his notes that he's given them to finalize everything and get it to these musicians. And when I say it's a who's list of guitar players, Steve Vai, Joe Bonamassa. Again, I don't have any of these stories handy right now. I'm trying to go find it. Darn it. But definitely the fact that he's still doing this 29 years later, quite active, quite full of life, quite active mentally, creatively. I'm not saying that anything to do with Stephen Hawking is real. I'm just saying that I'm not going to hammer on the fact that he lived as long as he did with ALS anymore.
You're saying we are going to hell, aren't you? That's what
we are
saying.
going to hell. That's really what I'm dancing around. That is exactly what I've been dancing around. Steve Vai, Paul Gilbert, Michael Lee Firkins, Marty Friedman, Neil Schon, who else? Greg Howe, Jeff Loomis, Richie Kotzen, Gus G, Steve Hunter, Ben Woods. If you're a guitar player, you know these names. This album is coming, or it's out now. It's called Triumphant Hearts. And actually, Jason is able to appear because he recorded a crap ton of music before his playing got to the point he couldn't, because he knew he had all this creativity. He had to get it out. So there's music on this album that's actually his guitar playing. interwoven with the new people. We played some this morning. It was quite amazing.
Yeah, very. I've never gotten that good. Never wanted to.
Never got that good myself, my friend. Don't worry. That's just stuff
I always
you listen
wanted to
to.
just be able to play and sing. You know, that's all I wanted to do. Oh, I'm in the yurt. It's right here. It's a yurt-style tent. Lots of room in here. I don't know if you all can see it.
No, for some reason, when I go away from the big screen of looking at everything, all I see is the presented screen that has lots of things on it. I can't tell you what else there. Steve Perry, maybe. But whoever is sharing screens, that's all I see when I go to my small screen.
All right.
Yeah, be a little more active in the chat. So I'm on a YouTube page, and I got the Skype up in the corner, and
You're pimping your ass
that's
in the
me
chat.
too. I'm trying to do all kind of multi-tricks here. Trying to see if I can make this go away. Is it something I'm doing? No, it's somebody presenting this last video, the universal disclosure. I guess Josh left it on when he left. How soon will we be expecting Brendon here at the top of the hour? Oh, it is the top of the hour.
Well, I've just thought we might have a slight minor issue in that we need Josh to add him. I think. Although I should be able to now because he should be in my list, shouldn't he? Let's see if I can do it. Phil for me.
I was working on it. Oh, well, go ahead. You do that, and I will. Phil, hold on, Phil. There was one more cool little story. I'm going to pop it up here. Where did Josh put it? Believe it or not, if you're lucky enough to have a child who's still a space addict, no, I'm kidding. All of us watching this right now should not have kids that believe in space anymore. But we did a story this morning about being able to send a letter off to an astronaut saying, hey, I'm a kid and I like space, and they'll send you stuff in the mail, which would have been awesome 10 years ago for me. But I'm trying to find,
yeah, me too.
Hold on.
What is that like? Is that like when you go off and give some money to a snow leopard and he sends you a picture of himself?
He sends you a letter
back
every week, right?
Or
Right.
a rhino. Aye.
All right.
I'm Aaron the astronaut.
You've adopted your own astronaut, right? For only 7 cents a day, you can help keep this astronaut in space.
It's a picture of me in my natural habitat, a hangar bay in New Mexico.
Yeah, we were having fun with that one this morning in the chat as well. Oh, man.
There was
Speaking of the poor stranded astronauts that are trapped now that the fake rocket didn't act correct, so they can't now fake a mission because it messed up. They can't have a mission if the rocket fell out of the sky, right? Even though that happens every freaking time, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, how are they saying that the astronauts lived through this? Did they show like the capsule deploying parachutes or something? I mean, if you hit the ground at 17,000 miles an hour, water, ground, whatever, the chances of you surviving are pretty slim, I would say.
Flubber.
Yeah, somebody said they went right to CGI. And then, oh yeah, the astronauts are all fine. You know, they didn't make it up there. The rocket came down. They didn't show it blow up or anything, but the astronauts are all fine. I'm willing to bet that there was no astronauts on that rocket.
Never are. It's a Roman, basically Roman candle. It's fireworks they're shooting off. And they're all sitting at this lounge in Kazakhstan. Interesting that we had this real ridiculous movie starring this real ridiculous character from Kazakhstan. Right? Remember that, everybody? But if you go look into Kazakhstan,
yes, you might.
You find out that it's the richest place around with just tons of golden buildings, and they land rockets there regularly.
Like, very nice. Very nice. It's Kazakhstan.
My wife. All right.
She's my wife, but she also my sister. Now, Kazakhstan is called the land of the rising sun, and it's a very, very strange place. There is the kind of native peasantry, but they're building these kind of super cities, and the center of the Kazakhstan capital is a New World Order kind of postcard picture, isn't it? It's really, really strange place. I think it's oil money it's based on, this new wealth, isn't it? Or gas money or something. But it's
sand
got
pirates.
Yeah, it's
no, truly, that's really and truly how they're doing a lot of the money these days. Is they steal the sand from these pristine beaches. The sand is used to make, man, just about everything we're playing with. If it's not some kind of gold element in it, like computers and all these tablets and phones, it's sand based some kind of way. I think you have Brendon calling us now, maybe. Yes. Hold on one moment. Let me go.
Apparently, the link you gave him was not the link for this one.
Oh, hi. Josh is here. Snuck in on us.
Yeah, let me try.
Yeah, let's hang that up and put him in here. That would be a lot easier than if I can hang it up everywhere. Got it calling on like 5 devices right now. Everything in my room suddenly lit up calling.
Yeah, I think the rain out here is following me around. When I was up in New Mexico, I was in Las Cruces, and they said, well, it doesn't ever rain here. This is so weird that it's raining. And then I went up to Capitan, and it rained a couple of days, and then I came down here to El Paso, and they say it barely ever rains, like never. And it's been raining all day.
Rain to rain. Too nice.
Well, we are joined by Brendon Daily. Brendon, welcome.
What's up? How you guys doing?
Oh,
welcome,
fabulous.
Man. Always a pleasure.
Evening, Brendon. How you doing, mate?
How are you doing? Very good, man. Very tired, man. Very tired right now. So I'm blistering. I got a blister on my foot right now that I'm tending to, getting some Band-Aids on it. So
putting in the work, huh?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So how is it down there? Is it hot in Honduras?
Oh man, yeah. It's a jungle, man. It's 100 degrees, 95 degrees, humidity through the roof. You know, definitely an interesting country. Not a lot of there's a lot more flat earthers down here now since I came down here, though. So that's a good thing. Yeah.
Well done.
Are you like some new kind of? Are you preaching and converting? Are you as you go into these new territories?
yeah. That's kind of that's been partly the goal, you know, to bring it to other parts of the world. You know, there's not a lot of see a lot of flat earthers down in Central America. I know Colombia has a good decent amount. Honduras, I've met one before I came down here, and that was it. One or two, I think, hit me up and was like, "Oh, I'm a flat earther from there and stuff." But other than that, I mean, there's definitely a lot more flat earthers now.
But you're getting a good reception.
Yeah,
good.
Okay,
excellent.
Can you guys hear me good or?
No, I mean.
No, he meant like from the people there, not from us. Yeah, we see you fine, man. Yeah, we're picking you up great.
Yeah, that's really good for what it's worth.
I know, right? I'm actually in a pretty nice place here. You know, I even got my chandelier up here hanging out and stuff. People, believe it or not, I haven't had one person, kind of shoo it away. Everybody that I've spoken to about it has been interested in it. And I've even done some flat earth and out on the, I was out on the islands for the last week in the Caribbean. And that's where most of my experiments I wanted to run it was game time when I was out there. Now the rest is like I'm pretty sure I know what the results are going to be going forth. But out there, I didn't know what the results were going to be until I got out there, you know. And everybody I spoke to, I even brought a translator with me out on a boat to a smaller island, and he was translating everything to me. And as I was explaining to people, I was bringing them out on the water to the dock and pointing out, so they're seeing it as I'm telling them, like, listen, this does not bend type things, you know what I mean? And I got a big message across to people, you know what I mean? The island of Roatan probably has about 400 flat earthers on it now. Pretty much everywhere I went, I was just doing it. If they didn't speak English, I had a translator. If they did speak English, they were in an island mood, so they weren't really in that American fast pace, like, oh, I don't want to, you know what I mean? They're relaxed out there, you know? So the Americans that I was speaking to out there were very receptive to it. So so far, trip, experiments, everything has been a 100% success. So,
hey, B, what was the translator thinking? What was the look on his face when he first started translating your flat earth stuff?
Well, I had been hiring this guy, and I'm going to plug him in the episode when episode 3 comes out. I'm going to do a segment on him. I had hired a native who had been to the States, had really good English and stuff, and he lives out on the water. He does tours, snorkeling, scuba diving, anything you want. He's your man. He gets it done for you. And I basically hired him every day to be like my personal shotter out there. So I made sure that I flat earthed him first. And for a lot of these people that are out on the water, you know, it's not that hard to convince them, especially these people that, you know, these island natives that are just relaxed and they're seeing the sun, the clear stars. You can point at things a lot easier out there and explain it to them. So I flat earthed the hell out of the guy, and he was a believer. So when he was translating it, eventually I didn't have to say the full sentence anymore. He already knew what I was saying, and he would just say it all in Spanish to the guy. I would just say the water, you know what I mean? I'd bring up a certain thing and he would explain it to him. So he started getting pretty good at it, you know? And but, yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Are there a lot of Americans who are living down there now? I've heard that a lot of people have been moving that way.
The mainland, no. I've seen one American since I've been here, where I'm at. So and he actually lives not too far over here. I'm thinking it was weird when I saw the guy. I'm like, wait, man, was this guy got warrants for murder in the United States or something? Like, what's he doing out here? You know, something just seemed strange about the guy. You know, I didn't even talk to him. Like, we looked at each other and we're like, he was like, he went his way and I went my way. It was an awkward exchange, yeah. And because I'm in the city of Puerto Cortes, which is just outside San Pedro Sula. Which is like the danger zone and stuff where people, you know, that's where the airport is and stuff. But that's one of the most deadly cities in the world. And I've been out there a few times already. And I haven't done my San Pedro filming yet, but it's going to get done in the next week or two. But yeah, as far as Americans, man, they look at me out here with the red beard and the lighter skin tones and stuff. And when I'm telling you, dead stares, they don't stop looking. Like, I catch them staring and I'm like, all right, I do my head turn, just kind of go about my business. I go back to them like a minute later and they're still just like,
aren't you
staring at me? Like, yeah, so it's pretty gnarly. It is. It's definitely something I can never forget. You know, the people out there are pretty cool. So awesome.
Is it not a bit Quetzalcoatl, the red beard?
It's, you know, I've been calling myself the ginger god of Honduras since I came out here.
Yeah, it reminds me of that movie, The Gods Must Be Crazy. How he was looking at all the white people.
Yeah, exactly like that. Exactly like that. I will say though, I have found interesting things since I've been out here. Not so much, you know, more conspiracy realist type things, but not so much on the shape of the earth. But a couple things I noticed that were really interesting to me, and I actually started digging a lot deeper into it since I've been out here, is I, for one, don't have a 5G network out here, and the 5G towers or a 4G network. Everything's like a hybrid LTE type tower or 3G or just really, really shitty, you know what I mean, wherever you are, with no service, you know. So one big thing that I realized when I came out here was my sleeping habits went from, I'm groggy when I wake up a little bit. I go to bed late at night. All right, awesome. I can finally see you guys. All right, cool. So my sleeping habits drastically changed the first night I got out here, and I started going bed earlier. I'm waking up like I'm in the bed that I'm staying in right now. I hop up like this and I'm like, let's go. You know what I mean? Get my coffee and I'm out the door. Or, so and another huge thing that I noticed too, I haven't had breakfast. I haven't eaten breakfast in probably 4 or 5 years. And since I come out here, I've eaten not only just one breakfast some days, but multiple breakfasts, pancakes, bacon and eggs. You know what I mean? Like I'm eating every morning. Like my appetite has gone through the roof. I'm probably the only person that's gone to a third world country and put on 10 pounds, So that was also interesting in my mind, my head. I'm a lot clearer thinking out here. I'm not getting that ringy tones in my ears out here. So I'm not saying it's a 4 or 5G problem that we're having in the United States, but I'm saying it's probably a 4 or 5G problem that we're having in the United States because I live next to those towers. I'm sure they're around all of us that are on the show right now. So that's one huge thing that I noticed when I came out here, and because I didn't think the 5G was really affecting us yet, like people thought, like saying it is. But now that I came out here, I do believe that there is something going on inside those areas. I know the UK has some areas. I know the United States is loaded with them. But here, it's the only closest 5G network is Brazil or Colombia. So those towers, I think, have a 300-mile range. So they're nowhere near me. And it's just been a drastic change in my habits since I came out here. The second thing that I noticed when I came out here I was expecting very large wasps and like nasty bees like we have in the United States. I live in New Hampshire, and we got these big brown wasps, yellow wasps. I mean, they're just nasty creatures out there. All I see out here are the little awesome honeybees pollinating everything, working all day. The resorts, the mainlands, I mean, they are everywhere, and they are non-existent inside the United States. So something is happening inside the U.S. to get rid of those, and we're getting all these nasty bees like the hornets and the wasps and all this. That's all you ever see from where I am. I can't really speak on that. Oh, Florida, that's all you see. New Hampshire, that's all you see. From where I can, from where I've seen and paid attention to these bees, it's amazing how beautiful they are out here. I mean, they're just working. They'll literally fly and land on you, and they're no harm because they're just working, looking for sugar or whatever. You grab your drink, there'll be like 3 of them on there trying to get a little bit of Coca-Cola out of there, a little bit of sugar or whatever, and they'll just fly away. No harm, no foul, So that was the 2 biggest things that I've noticed that in the United States we're not, it's just different, So spraying the food, the chemicals, and the 5G network and stuff. When you're away from that, you definitely start to notice big differences. So,
have you seen a lot of chemtrails since you've been down there?
Oh, I forgot about that. Number 3. Excuse me, 3. I don't want to throw up any Freemason signs and get yelled at. I haven't seen one fucking chemtrail. Not one. Not a single one since I've been out here. I thought over one of the airports I was at, because I've been in and out of all the chemtrails will go into like a misty. Actually, if you actually pay attention to the chemtrail after it's dumped and you observe it for an hour or two, what it transforms into, you kind of get that misty look to it. Saw a little bit of that misty look over the airport, just a little bit in one little spot, but that's it. Nothing. No chemtrails. Non-existent. So.
And it sounds like paradise.
Good observation. I forgot
except for the heat.
Yeah. Except for the heat and all the murder and stuff like that. Yeah.
I wonder if the lack of all of those horrible influences might speak more to the openness of some of the people that have actually listened to this flat Earth truth rather than just being on vacation. Because I've talked to some real chill people, and they thought I was out of my gourd.
Yeah. Yep. No, that's a really, really good point there. That being receptive and stuff could very well have something to do with, what they're doing through those towers or the chemicals in our food.
Right. I mean, your own body has changed just with the hunger aspect. Definitely.
Yes.
Just that much of a change just from being out of it that's crazy.
Did you see any of the? I mean, it's quite common, isn't it, when you flat smack, whatever the phrase, you want to use with somebody out at the UK, US, in Western environments, sometimes you're lucky enough to get what you're describing there, which is an open and honest evaluation of what you're presenting. But a lot of the times it's a kind of a repulsive response you get over here, a kind of instant reaction of lunacy and incredulity at what you're suggesting.
It's a much tougher point to get across. But that's the one thing that I kind of have taken pride in, is I've always been able to kind of flat earth anybody if you give me enough time, but it's a more, well, what about this? What about that? You have to answer 25 more questions. But I was in sales my whole life, so I know how to read people really well, and I'm a good judge of character because I've been doing marketing and sales and people for 12 years as a career, as a profession. So flat earthing people or flat smacking people, I usually fail. I'm probably 8 for every 10 people that I try to bring the flat earth. I'm flat earthing everybody. But yeah, it's definitely a much different type of message to get across in the United States as it is in the UK. I got some really good flat earther friends out of UK. A large majority of my friends are, out in the UK and stuff. You guys got a great bunch of flat earthers out there, all over that area. And I see them flat earthing people, and it's tough, man. I think they just go through a much bigger brainwashing out in those, those first world countries and stuff. And it's completely different battle when you're trying to flat earth somebody as opposed to here. So I think, as all the good points that you guys brought up, it's a combination of the chemicals, the towers, the people, the education, pretty much that whole combination of things just awakening, or when you try to awaken somebody up to
That's awesome, man. Well done. Thanks for taking the time to do all this. I know it's
no kidding. And that's
like
the expense.
It's more than a job. Yeah, and you're doing it on your own dime. Take my hat off to you, man. Well done.
Hey,
for real.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Hell yeah, man. That's what it's all about right there. You're not really working if you're having fun, in flat earth. I mean, sometimes I just want to give up, and I think a lot of people send bad energies my way because they we're enemies to them and they're victims to us. That's the way it is, So if somebody views you as an enemy, they're going to be putting bad vibes to you. But I just don't. I feel like it's a job, but I also feel like it's something that somebody has to do, and the experiences. It's a calling, yeah. It's a passion, a calling, and I've also got to see and experience some cool things at the same time. In the response that you get from people is like the payday. When we get these people that thank you or anything like that, like you just did. That's my payday right there. So I mean, I can't do this forever. I have plans. I have my future planned out on the path I'm going to take flat earth. Drastically change in certain areas, because I can only do this for so long. You know what I mean? We're talking. I've made a big investment in this, and I'm going to see how far I can take it. And once I get to that point, I'm going to switch it up and do something different. But I'm thinking maybe another 6 months or so of doing it like this, traveling and stuff, and then I'm going to kind of just take a different path in the flat Earth world. I have it planned, but I'll share it when that time comes with everybody. So. But yeah, yep.
Great work.
Plus, my bank accounts are gone way down.
Yeah, I bet. Wow.
I've even had to bring my kids to the doctors, and there's no health insurance out here. And I've 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doctor's visits since I've been out here out of pocket.
Oh, gee.
So, yeah, but they're doing good. They're healthy, but you can't take any chances out here. So, yep. So.
Glad to hear everybody's doing good.
Yeah. Whole family's doing good. I'm getting a little homesick at this point. I get, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more actual things that I need to get for the episode. One involves an eye doctor. which is I'm going to interview and I'm going to kind of walk the guy into a trap per se, you know. I'm going to make him admit certain things without having to admit certain things, I guess you could say, you know. So I have set up something with a optician, I think. Yeah, it's optician, right? And guys with glasses. We go to opticians for our glasses, right? Am I off, or is that right?
Optician.
No, you're right. Optician. Okay. So I got a meeting with one of those. I'm going out to an orphanage, and I'm going to bring as many toys and materials and stuff as I can for the kids out here. And I'm going to spend a day with them. And pass out things that they need, like maybe clothes and I don't know, food. I'm going to call them before I go to see what they need the most, if it's toys or if it's actual socks, you know what I mean? Something as simple as like 1,000 socks or something, you know? So that's one thing I'm going to do. And then I got the San Pedro stuff, which is, I really want to get that over with because I'm going to be out there for about a week filming, and we're talking the most dangerous city in the world. There's a murder for every hour and 15 minutes in that city is the average. And so that's where I'm going to be, and I'm going to be interviewing gang members out there, and we'll get that over with, man. That's and basically what I'm going to be doing. The reason people, well, what does that have to do with flat Earth? And I bring up the whole red light, thing. Like if you run a red light and then you get a ticket in the mail, and you realize there's a camera up there, are you going to run the red light again? And most people say no, obviously not. And that's flat Earth in a nutshell. If everybody had that red light above them, why? You know what I mean? The world wouldn't be what it is today. So right down to the foundation. That whole place, man. You can change that whole place. That would be awesome. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. It is. I can see it already.
So
go ahead.
Do you have an advocate or some type of ambassador, or are you just heading in there open,
knocking on doors?
It all works out.
Hey, let me in. I got something to say.
Yeah, right. Is this the MS-13 guys? Hey, come on out. I want to talk to you real quick. Captain Redbeard's here. I have a journalist that I'm working with out of Puerto Cortez, and he works for the city hall out here. And as far as a lot of the filming I'm doing in Puerto Cortez, I'm going to be going Lone Ranger out there with a Spanish person, a local, but it's going to be Lone Ranger type stuff. I'm also just going to set up in the middle of downtown of San Pedro, and I'm just going to stop people, and talk to them about it and try and get that message out to one of the most third world places ever. But yeah, I do have a journalist that's going to work with me on getting a few of the gang members to agree to speak with me. And it's weird. Like I brought out my Comcast ID. It's basically like an ID for work. I brought that out to make it look like a media so they don't kill me. You know what I mean? So I'm like, hey, no, I'm with Xfinity Comcast. Don't kill me. Just in case I need to pull that out and save my
any
ass,
little card you can play, man. Right.
Yeah. Put it around my neck. Put a shirt on this as journalist or something. Whatever I got to do to protect them. But go ahead.
So definitely. Those are like Clark Kent glasses. It's like a whole new Brendon showed up when you put those on.
I know, right? Well, believe it or not, my glasses had broke before I came down here, and that's how I got in with that optometrist, because I knew certain things like if a girl wants a tummy tuck or certain medical procedures, flying to countries like this, having it done here, and then flying back home, even with your room and board stay, everything is actually cheaper than having the surgery done in the United States. So it's whether the people want to come here and make that leap. So what I did was I waited till I came out here to get my new glasses, and they're like Timberland designer glasses. I did the exam, the frames, the lenses, everything for under $200, and they're like $1,000 glasses. And yeah, I know. You see all the people with glasses right now. You guys are like, shit, you should bring me back up here.
Yeah, no doubt.
But that was included in the exam too. So it was the exam, everything, and get this, the best part, they were ready the very next day. The very next day, I went and picked them up. So it was like noon. It was literally less than 24 hours. They did the whole process. So I'm pumped about that. That was such a relief to get that done and to save some money doing it, at the same time.
A crazy third world country does it better than they do it here.
Yeah, and it was cool. I mean, during your exams, they use all this fancy equipment they'll put on your face and stuff like that. And it's really a perfect example of how we complicate things in the United States, and we try to be like so much better than you have to be. In reality, the guy put a fucking TV on the wall, put on one little list of numbers and letters, you know, just instead of like the 20 or 30 that they do in the United States, just like 2 or 3 lines. And he puts on this big thing and you know, where they slide the lenses in and stuff. But it looked like from like the lobotomy days type things, you know, back when they that old medical equipment. And he goes, "Can you see the letters?" I go, "No." He goes, "Can you see the letters?" I go, "No." And he goes, "Can you see the letters?" I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Okay, cool." Measures my eyes. Next day, he goes, "What frames you want?" It was literally 5 minutes. He made me had everything done, and then I put them on, and they're like literally perfect. You know.
So basically, you went back to analog rather than doing digital, and it's so much better.
Oh, 100%. I was using a VHS to watch my movies with these pair of glasses, but they came out perfect, and it was literally 5 minutes the whole exam took. So yeah, I think we just overcomplicate things, and such a relief to have it done that way. And it was a cool experience too to kind of go back in time, you know what I mean, and how they used to do it. And the methods still work, you know. And in my opinion, that was a better method.
Well, that, my friend, is the best segue we've ever had, I think, and to what we've been waiting. We've been wanting to discuss a little bit of optics of Zach's. We've been waiting for you to come along because Zach's done a formula. He's got a video and he's put it out again. And he's asked for critique before, and I've had a look at it, and I've got a little bit. And I think we'd like your opinion on this as well, mate. But I'm banned from playing videos because you lot can't hear it for some strange reason. So we need Josh to be able to. If Josh can share it, we can stick it on, and it'll probably save 10 minutes of rambling. I think it's about 5 minutes long, isn't it, Zach?
Yeah, just a little bit over 5 minutes. Not too long.
Yeah. Just let me pull it up real quick.
So Zach, to just put it into a bit of context, it's using Rayleigh's criterion, and Zach's kind of developed a little formula from that so that you can calculate the minimum observable height. Is that, or the magnitude of what you can... You explain it probably a bit better, Zach, but we've got a formula that will...
pretty much show you how much curve you're going to imagine would be there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just by... And it can do it for any lens with any size aperture, looking at any light source at any distance.
Okay.
So in the video, will do it better justice than I could ramble on here. But yeah, I didn't make up any of these equations. I just took a few different equations and threw them all together. You know, kind of like astrophysicists do with all their nonsense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not 100% that it's actually just right. So I threw it out there, and I'm looking for some feedback.
Present him whenever you wish, Josh, to play.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. Good times for all. There's Zachary Zabala here if you prefer. In this video, we're going to be going on over an equation that I wrote to determine how much should be hidden when looking parallel over the water at any distance, looking at any wavelength of light with any size of a lens's aperture. I wrote this a while back. I've shared it on Nathan Oakley's channel and also on Iron Realm Media, but I figured it was time to put that out on my channel. It's very simple. I didn't make up any of these different equations. I just kind of put them together to come up with the answer. So the top line is known as Rayleigh's criterion. The capital I with a circle through it is the symbol for radians. The little one above the D is lambda, or wavelength of light. If you don't know what radians are, it's kind of like angles.
but it has to do with trigonometry. So you have radians equals 1.22 times the wavelength of light, or lambda, over d, or the diameter of your aperture. Now this will give you the amount that will be distorted looking at a certain light with a lens with a certain diameter. The next line is very simple. It's just converting radians to degrees. So you have X number of degrees equals the number of radians times 180 degrees over pi. When you go down a line, it just shows that the number of degrees, X, is A in the little drawing we have to the right. Now we're looking for the little a, how much is going to be distorted at the end of that angle when looking over a distance of small b there. So you have the little a is what you're trying to find equals b, that distance, tangent to that amount of degrees there. And then the very last line only comes into play when your observer height is less than the amount that is going to be distorted. And I'll give you a quick one. We'll say at 10 miles, looking over the water, the human eye will lose about 35 feet. If you are have your diameter of your aperture or your pupil, the amount of degrees equals about 0.038, I believe, which would be you squinting with the smallest pupil that you could have. So at 35, you take the 35 feet that's being distorted, but you're only, say, 10 feet off the water height, okay? So you cut 35 in half, and it's 14 and a half. Or, excuse me, 17 and a half. So your 17 and a half is larger than your 10. So we lose, because it's equal above your eye line and below your eye line, that the amount is distorted. That's why we broke it into two. So the 35 feet becomes 17 and a half feet. So you have the 17 and a half feet above your eye line that is distorted, but you only have 10 feet below your eye line that you can calculate in. That's where A divided by 2, that's me cutting in half and making it 17 and a half feet, plus we would say 10 feet because we're 10 feet above the water here. So it would come out to be 27 and a half feet at 10 miles. Be the minimum that could be distorted. So if you had a sailboat that was, say, 40 feet high, 27 and a half feet of it would be cut off just by the limitation of your eye. It would all look pretty much like water and sky kind of mixed together, and you'd only see the top of the sailboat. This is why things, as they go off in the distance, you start to lose them at the bottom. They're not going over any curve. This all has to do with the limitation of any lens with a certain size aperture. So I hope that was understandable. I hope I explained it easy enough. If you have any questions, please add them below in the comment section. If you have any problems with this, please let me know. This is not, set in stone. I'd appreciate any feedback. And that's it. This is Good Time for All, signing out. And as always, thanks for watching.
That was good stuff, man. That was really cool, man. If you don't mind, I was taking photos of it, of the formula.
No, not at all. Yeah,
so
awesome.
I could kind of go back and reference it. There's two people I'm going to send this to, and I'll actually send me a link to that video as well. Two people. One of them, both might be listening right now, but don't know if you guys know Roberto Reeves and Billy Zagaris. Very intelligent people. Their formulas, I mean, that all made sense. That seems like that could work. You know, and then if it doesn't work, it's not far. I mean, if it's not right, it's not far off. But Billy Zagaris is an engineer. He's like 25 years retired engineer, one of the smartest flat earthers I've ever met in my life. He kind of just came out of the flat earth closet. Now he's doing interviews, and it's great seeing him awakening like this. But I'm going to send him that plus a link to that, and then I'm going to give you your feedback. And then Roberto Reeves, who was 20 years a mental health professional, master's in mental health. He's amazing with this stuff, and he brought to my attention that oftentimes, like the horizon, we speak of it as an actual physical thing, but it's more or less an optical illusion from where we're standing. Right. You move forward, it changes. You move back, it changes. You move up, you move down, it changes. It's not a physical thing that you can go out and touch. You know, it's just basically a referencing point. So a lot of times we need formulas like this so we can get easier or closer to an exact formula on what we're seeing when we look over large distances like that. But yeah, that was really cool, man. Yeah, that was really cool. I took math. I had the same math teacher for 3 years in high school, so I wasn't the best. And I got better as a mathematics after becoming a flat earther because I started spending a lot more time with him. But yeah, from what I saw, that was pretty cool stuff, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's something I worked on for a while, and it just kind of dawned on me one day. And yeah, I'm hoping that it's going to help us out here in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, the type of flat earther I've been is I've always kind of geared towards the most simple answer being the right answer. I wandered off. I mean, see, these are the equations we need. You know, these people write mathematical equations on why black holes exist, and people believe it. You know what I mean? They don't keep simple. I mean, this is pretty simple, and I think you broke it down very well. And I honestly say that could be wrong about that.
Shall I be mean?
Yeah. Rip into me, Adam. I've been waiting for this.
Adam. Get him.
Well, he's probably better at math than I am, you know. All I know is the G in the mathematical formula for gravity does not work. That's what I do know. But yeah, I definitely would love some other feedback. But that's an awesome way of looking at it from what I saw in that video. But I would want to test this formula with being out on the water and doing it physically as I'm looking at that formula. You know, that would be the easiest way, in my opinion, to do it. And yeah, I mean, I like it. Good stuff.
Yeah, I didn't mention in the video, but real quick, Adam, this is just the minimum.
Yeah.
As the atmosphere, you start adding moisture and particulates.
Cleansing and
it'll only get bigger and block out more. But yeah, this is the minimum that you'll be able to see.
Yep. I always do the minimum with a lot of stuff too, especially coverage tests. If I know something's 100 miles away, I'll probably just say it's like 80, 90 miles away if I film it, just because I don't want to go over. I'd rather be less. You know what I mean? I'd rather be at the minimum of what I'm looking at than have. And that's the whole great thing about science is we're wrong a lot of times too. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely good stuff, man. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I just want to qualify what I'm about to say. I'm not disagreeing with this. I think the whole concept, the derivation, is correct. I just think I've spotted one small error which does impact on the final results. And Josh, could you pull the video back up just to put the calculations page up? And then
I got it on. I'm looking at it on my phone right now too. So if I'm gonna reference it, if you can,
could you,
it would
sir?
Be an honor and a privilege.
Thank you, sir. I'll transfer the page when it comes. Okay, so all of that I totally agree with. The thing I would say is A equals B of tan large A, just to clarify that formula there. But what it is, and for me, it's the diagram that's bugging me. And how you can apply what you can apply trigonometrically. Now, if you look at that triangle, you can apply the trig to that. That is correct. But if you go to the end of the video, Josh, to the other diagram that Zach's drawn, that one, yeah. You can see there, that's the diagram we need to do the maths on. Okay, so what you've done there is you've done the straight trig on a right-angled triangle based on 0.038. Okay, and that you're using to calculate to give you the 35 foot. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Right, but if you look at that triangle, what you actually want to do is half the 0.038 to calculate what you've written as 17.5 feet. And that will give you a slightly smaller number. If you go back to the first one as well, you can see you can do what you've got here on this one is an isosceles triangle. And if you're applying that 0.038 to an isosceles triangle, the trig doesn't work. When you apply it to that one there, it does. But what you see the difference between the two diagrams. So what you have to do is go back to the isosceles one. What you have to do is what you've done there, which is cut the triangle, the viewing triangle, in half to create your right-angled triangle. That in turn cuts in half your angle you calculate from the Rayleigh's criterion. So it does have a small mathematical difference, and I think it should reduce that 17.5, probably to like 16. Now,
yeah, I see what you're saying. So cut it in half before I even do the calculation for the.
Yeah, because you can't do the trigonometry look on that isosceles triangle. You can only do it on it when you've cut it in half to create the right angle triangle. Because you've done tan equals opposite over adjacent. Yeah.
So the 0.019. If I added those two together, it wouldn't come out to be the same as the 0.038, is what you're saying.
Yeah. It's slightly smaller.
Great catch. Thank you. I'll have to do some thinking and see what I can.
I'll say everything's right. It's just that bit, you've not cut your triangle in half to do it first. And in doing so, you have to half the angle. Then it will give you that top bit. What that does mean as well, I think, is that if the observer height is greater than A over 2, the 17.5 feet in this case, then you just add A over 2. Otherwise, you can ignore it as you've done and just add the observer height. So everything else I totally agree with, just that bit there.
Yeah, that sounds about right, I think. Might have to go back in there and do a little bit of rearranging with some numbers and whatnot, but I think you're right.
Well, my question would be, like, just based off that quick little catch right there, how much different do you think the end results are going to be? I mean, you think it would have been way off, or do you think it's going to be very similar? Okay.
It's negligible, but I'm just being geeky.
Yes, sir. He's going to clean it up to the nth degree.
That's what we need, though. We need that.
Yeah, that's what we need. Yeah, because the people we're going against, they're going to be, nitpicking every little thing that we do. So I want it to be. That's why I threw it out here. I wanted people to critique it. And
wait until Savage gets well.
I know. I can't.
He's going to get on it.
He's in the call. He'll be itching now, thinking, "Can I get in? Can I? I need to. Need to." But yeah, I don't know. I don't know either, Zach. Mine was adding an opinion of what I think there. I don't know. I think it's all worthy of debate and conjecture as to. I do think it. Don't know.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what your engineer buddy has to say, Brendon. That would.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Well, give me, when you finish it, when you critique it, then send it back to me, and
Okay.
and let me and I'll send it over to him. He's really good with this stuff. If it's spot on, you'll know it's spot on. I mean, he used to design like I don't know, those like big printers or something like that they use in like schools and stuff like that, I believe it was. But he used to engineer the parts and the designs for those printers, and how certain things move to catch up with other things, and basically to make it a well-oiled machine.
Yeah,
intricate so the math he was using, I think over the years of doing that, just really so he's my go-to guy with him and Roberto. Obviously mental health is not really mathematical. I'm sure it is somewhere, but he's just amazing with numbers too as well. And once you get that critiqued from what he had just asked you to do, I'll send it over to him. And I'm pretty sure at the end, if he says this is spot on, it's going to be very spot on. So yeah, definitely do that for you. I'm interested to know as well too, because this is good stuff.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been looking at Rayleigh's criterion for over a year now, trying to figure out a way to figure out how much should be cut off. Not with the globe. I didn't care about the curve or anything. I wanted to see how our eyes are actually working and how we could calculate.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm hoping this leads somewhere.
Yeah. No, I think you're on the right path. Because the cool thing is too, what I really like about it is we're always going back to that 8 inches, squared, 8 inches times a mile squared formula, which is it's probably one of our best weapons mathematically against, curvature, especially at sea level. But we need to start figuring out equations on a flat plane, that's really good stuff. Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say Adam's got one that's not just an approximation. Sorry, I got dogs barking in the background here, but he's got an equation that we could calculate all the way around a ball if it were 25,000 miles at the equator.
Yeah. We kind of mentioned it the last time. 8 inches per mile is, as described, an approximation. So if you are, you were alluding to it earlier, wanting to do accurate stuff. And if you are wanting to kind of sight accurately when you're talking in terms of heights of mountains and how that applies to the curvature, then if I'm being honest, the metabunk one appears to be the closest if you just take the straightforward geometric data from it and not all the other nonsense. But I did one, and I think mine's more right, but I'm biased.
Because the one you just mentioned, was that the Earth curve calculator one?
Yeah.
Or the one that you can get the okay, yeah. Okay.
Who the hell are we talking about? Which calculator are you talking about? Some guy on the internet has a calculator for Earth curve, huh? Who in the hell?
I'd like to see somebody debate an ass like that.
It's funny, you know who I had we re-released because we got 2 and 3 coming out now, but we had pulled down one for we had found something in it that we needed to remove, and we relaunched it. And I've been waiting for the day that famous scientist came at me or whatever. But you guys know Mick West? He's Joe Rogan's little shill boy that does he goes on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh yeah.
So I wake up to like all these messages, or I had done something and came back. Oh, you know what? I was actually filming an experiment, and it was a long distance shot. And I come back and I see Mick West commented on your video, and I was like, oh God, here we go. So I pull up the thread, and he was getting jumped by about 20 flat earthers by the time I even got there. And Roberto Reeves, the memes are just so hilarious now with like Roberto Reeves, the guy that I was just telling you about. Roberto Reeves shit stomped this guy inside and out for almost 3 days straight. I didn't even get words in. I was just like, Mick, debate me live. And he's like, yeah, I'll debate you live. He's like, but you're too mean for me to debate live. And I'm like, dude, first of all, you're a shill. Okay, so I'm not gonna be easy on you. You're regurgitating evil Masonic science in poisoning people's minds with it. So I'm not happy with you to begin with. But I didn't really get much in because Roberto had just started going off on the guy with like his mathematics working against him and stuff like that. And so, it was already like 80 comments deep by the time I had got on the thread. And then I just sat back with the popcorn and just watched Roberto tear this guy up, who's supposed to be this famous whatever or really intelligent guy who does the Metabunk site or whatever. I don't know if you guys have ever looked at his stuff. He's been on Joe.
We're well aware of Mick West.
Okay. Yeah. So he came at me, and I literally didn't get much in. It was just kind of like Roberto just literally flat smacking the shit out of the guy for 3 days straight. And I mean, it was quite the scene. I'll screenshot some of the stuff or send you the link over to the thread to Josh, whatever, because he's got the Facebook and he can, let you guys read the conversation. But it was, like I said, I probably went through about 20 bags of popcorn watching that thread.
I'll finish it up. I don't know if you look at the stream, you should see on the screen. Just my little bit of formula, which I'd done for that, just for those purposes. So I have derived it from first principles. There you go, look, there's a little bit of maths. So there is a much shinier presentation, as I've said before, that goes with it, but it's there. And that's a kind of a derivation of it. I'll just show you the formula there. So basically, if you want to know the drop, and this is in kilometers, it's you basically take the distance that you're saying you've traveled on the ball Earth, multiply it by, and John's got good at this, both imperial and metric, but multiply it by 0.00899326161. Then you take the cosine of that, multiply it by your radius 6371, and then take that number again away from 6371, and that will give you the exact geometric drop.
Can you send me that or put something up on the screen after the show?
I'll send you the nice PowerPoint presentation version of it, mate.
Sorry, yeah, he's showing it, but he's just showing it to the people on YouTube through OBS.
Okay.
He's very rude to us here in chat. He never shows it to us.
There's no sound on that form.
I'll screen share. Yeah, fair point. Point order. I get scared now. There's the formula there, look. Okay, which is derived from this d1 of r minus r cos theta. That's kind of the basic relation that it's derived from, kilometers terms. And this is the basic derivation in here. So you just take the distance from that, create a triangle by segmenting the radius as D1 and D2. You want to know D1, you can work out D2. Once you've worked out D2, you can work out D1, which is the way that derives. So D2 equals r cos theta. Then that works through there to give you the formula, which is r minus r cos distance times it. So that's it there, Brendon, basically. That was for my friend Rob, who's in Australia. So that's how to do it on a calculator. But that will give you an exact number, which you can then use.
Well, one of the main things, that I came out here to do was to film a lot of these islands out here, because this is probably one of the flattest places, with all these different Virgin Islands and Caribbean islands and all these other places out here that I wanted to take advantage of. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to learn this formula a little better so I can just do it real quick, like the 8 inches one. And I think in the video, in episode 3, what I'll do is I think I'll add that formula and show both formulas as far as a lot, because I got the distances. I got all those taken care of. My height, I know my height on all my shots that I did, and what I'll do is I'll show in the episode when I put up the actual final results to the numbers, using this formula and then also using the 8 inches times a mile formula, so people can see both formulas and see which one they decide is more accurate. But this one definitely seems like it would be more accurate than the 8 inches times the mile squared.
It's more accurate but harder to remember. 0.00883161. You see, so
Just doesn't roll off the tongue.
Well, how close is it to the, like, say we just did, say you just did it for 100 miles, or I don't know if that would be easier to go up that high, but say you just did 10 miles, and you did the 8 inches times the mile squared formula, and then you use, is there a name for this formula? Is there like a specific name for it, or is it just?
Oh no, got to be the iron formula.
They, and how much is it? How close is the other two formulas when you actually get a final number?
Oh, you'll see variances, and it depends because it's an approximation to the real curve, whereas I'm calculating on the real curve. So that approximation stays fairly close for the first 200, but it then varies off. So as you get further away, it gets much more varied. But there is, if you're wanting to do it scientifically, you shouldn't be using 8 inches. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not valid with when you're negating the point of having anything accurate in your other data. If you see what I mean, it is by its own definition an approximation, which is for me only useful for visual purposes. So if you say look at that island over there, it's 30 miles away, I can see too much of it, it's fine for that. But if you're going to actually put it into maths, then you should use the correct amount of curvature, I think.
Okay.
But you can see how geeky I am and anal. I even have to pick Zack. But yeah.
Well, pretty. We're going to have the P1100, P1200, 1300 coming out, and we're going to be looking a lot further than these 900s and 1100s. So especially if you say after 200 miles, we're getting a much more accurate reading. I mean, pretty soon we're going to be seeing 250, 300 on a regular basis. With how powerful these cameras are coming out. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna learn this formula. Appreciate that, especially with all the curvature tests I've done out here. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 curvature tests since I've been out here. I haven't done the math on them. I just got the distance and my height, and every single one of them was a success. And if I can get the more accurate reading, that's obviously something I want to do, especially with the Mick Wests of the world coming at me now.
It's one less hole for them to pick at, because they'll pick at any old bits of shit, really. Whether, you know what I mean? So it's always better to be forearmed, isn't it? I think with them.
I'll just send you the distances, and you can calculate it for me, and I'll enter the data in the episode then and edit it. How about that? So I don't screw this up, and you watch the episode after, and you're like, no, you forgot.
Along with the presentation, I'll send you a spreadsheet that's got a calculator built in it for you.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I know he was working on something to make it a little bit easier for everybody. So you said you do have that spreadsheet. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. It's got some basic distances, but you can put your own in and it'll tell you. So.
You got to dumb it down for, people like me.
For convenience of use, Josh.
Here's a pie chart and some pictures. Go munch on it.
Stick figures.
Are you ready?
I just envisioned a stick figure holding a P900 and like some squiggly lines going out or something.
So I think we're going to take a little break. I want to grab some coffee and hit the head. We just got a quick little gravity break, and then that's about 4 minutes, and then I think I've got another Norb video, number 2 trailer. for his big 2020 event. I wanted to play that after Gravity as well, just to get that out there. I don't know, Brendon, you be able to stick around? You got time? What you got going on? Anything?
Yeah. I got a little bit more time. I have to go do some food shopping tonight. That's about it. They got like holidays coming up here, so a lot of the stuff like closes at weird hours on certain days and certain weeks. Like nothing's open. Like it's definitely different. But I just got to do some food shopping tonight. But other than that, I probably got another half hour, 45 minutes in me. So.
Awesome, sweet. Well, we don't want to keep you from anything, but we appreciate every last minute you spend with us. It's been awesome so far. I mean, you are just knocking them down. That's
I want to pick your brains on some of these tests, experiments, etc. So, yeah, glad you can hang around, bro.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just a messenger of flat Earth. I'm just a good way of, you know what I mean? I just have a good way of bringing it out to people. I don't ever claim to be the smartest person. I just it's easy to see the lies if you got an open mind, you know, and people listen. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, you know.
Awesome. You're an inspiration for real.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
I'm just sitting here and behind the microphone. I'm not doing anything. I mean, I'll get up early and sit behind the microphone, but that's about it. You are in friggin' Honduras. Just got back.
Risking life and limb, sir.
Yeah, I mean somebody had sent me a meme they had made me the other day, and I don't know if it was funny, and it was, I don't know if you remember the movie with Brad Pitt, and it's way back in like the days where they fight with Trojan or whatever. I forget what the name of the movie was, and it was like
Troy.
Oh, he's the biggest man in the whole army. Why I would never fight that man or something like that. And he goes, oh, that's why nobody will remember your name. And so somebody sent me a meme, and it was like Brad Pitt with like the helmet on and like the sword and stuff, and it was like Brendon, you're going to the most dangerous city in the world in the name of flat Earth. I would never go to that city. And then at the bottom of it has Brad Pitt going, and that's why nobody will remember your name or something like that. And I was like, oh, it was so cool, man. It was so cool. That stuff was like inspiring to me. You know what I mean? So people are seeing it and people are enjoying it. So that's what it's all about. And as long as I just come back in one piece, all my friends got their marijuana plants budding right now. So I'm coming back just in time to get some of the goods. So, yeah, he keeps on sending me pictures, and you can't smoke here. You know what I mean? So that's one thing that kind of sucked. The island you could, but not on the mainland. You can't get caught with that stuff out here. But so he's sending me these pictures of all these buds drying out. So I'm like losing my mind. He's teasing me basically. You know, oh, you better not die out there, man, because you'll never get to try this stuff. You know. But yeah, they're screwing with me, but it's all good. You know,
sounds like a good friend, mate. Sounds like a good friend.
You know, I think you're good friends. You screw with each other a lot more than your acquaintances. You know what I mean? It's all in good humor. So, but yeah, I'll definitely stick around for the break and stuff, and hang out for a little bit more, guys, with you.
Well, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for spending the time with us and the people in chat. And a big shout out to everybody in chat. I've got it open. I pop in on occasion. I saw Rich, Mr. Thrive and Survive was in there. I know Candy popped in for a little bit, but I think she was having some connection issues. So thanks everybody in chat for tuning in. Alan Holman I saw from our chat this morning. See, it's just been a huge chat day. We had a great turnout this morning over on TFR. And another good turnout here this evening. So thanks, everybody. Thank you, Brendon, Zach, Walt, Adam. Thank you, guys. I need to get coffee, so I'm just going to do this because it's time.
We're up pretty high. Our heads are almost in the clouds, and they're staying a change to the ground with their chains of misery. They've got a hold of me. They won't let go of me. Let go of me. They might have gravity on their side, but something's pulling us high. They can be cruel and mean and a huge pain. Our heads are in the clouds now. Don't let them make it rain. A smile can be the sign they're missing out on their rainy day. They might have gravity on their side, but something's pulling us high. Got the potential to fly. Don't let them be what holds you back from this one incredible chance. They're lucky to have had a glance at you while you defy gravity. You defy gravity. They say we aren't strong enough. We don't have what it takes. I say yeah, they're wrong enough, and we'll show them someday. They might have gravity on their side, but something's pulling us high. Got the potential to fly. Oh yeah, don't let them be what holds you back from this one incredible chance. They're lucky to have had a glance at you while you defy gravity. You defy gravity. You defy gravity. Yeah, yeah. At you while you defy gravity.
Even if it doesn't make sense, don't you ever question NASA, your authority, your
We're up
government.
pretty high, our heads are almost in the clouds, and they're free to change.
Back in school, is the curriculum true? It's approved by the expert. Be a good boy, obey everything they tell you. Number 3, this one's got to do with the sea. Water never curves, but they call it gravity. Hold up, bro. You don't believe in gravity? I call it density and buoyancy. Number 4, I know you heard this one before. Look at the ships disappear on the horizon as they dip, but a zoom lens brings it back in. There it is. Nope, that's just refraction, a mirage every day. Number 5, look up. Don't you see the satellite? Don't you see the blinking lights? How the f can you deny? Cause I look up every night and I see the same sky. Nothing ever parallaxes, nothing ever flies by. So 6, stuck in the matrix, I hate the sticks. Spaceships photoshopped reality from data strips. Yeah, we believe 6 moon missions made it. Yeah, all we see is CGI and some great tricks. 7, this rule is completely underrated. Keep your social life and flat earth completely separated. Cause the skeptics won't get this, but get this. Our freedom of artistic expression and free speech is under threat. Number 8, I ate it sideways, that's infinity. I was made from the Trinity, not no apes, just infinity. My algorithm is set to 432 hertz. Perfect fractal patterns, those are nature's words. Number 9, the math and the numbers say it all. Railroads and canals were built on no ball. And from ancient civilizations to today's shoot, the engineers don't put the curvature in their equations. I'm saying number 10, get ready to pretend, regurgitate again, cause you can't fail, my friend. And if you get too many F's, you get sent to the dot. You got ADD popping a cocktail full of candles. Say the sun is not a 3 million miles away. That's a bunch of bullish hot spots prove it. Say the sun is not a 3 million miles away. Get your mind right or they start to abuse it. Call it a C level, not a C curve. And I don't see curve, I'm a truth seeker. Vomit on reality distorted by these teachers and doctrinated research. Let's go and smoke some weed. Used to have respect for road joking and team, for waking people the up to this monster machine, which we all bow down to in some chronic degree. But if you educate yourself and make you free your mind and your seat, you've already learned to love the servitude we put you in.
Telling you, I'm looking forward to it. That's good stuff. All right, stop sharing. Yeah, welcome back. That was 7 quick minutes.
Oh, that did go quick.
Didn't even get a chance to hear hardly any of Gravity. So how about you, Zach? Is that raining there?
Nope. I'm the Rain Man, I guess. They're going to be paying me to go around to different places in the country that's too dry.
There's a movie based on a true story about, wasn't royal life. It was some guy using Orgone technology, as I recall. I bet you Walter will know when Walt gets back.
Brendan's back. How we doing, guys?
Hey, how's it going, Brendon?
You had a good idea. I went and got some coffee.
I bet you got some killer coffee.
Oh yeah. No, they got a lot of that good coffee comes from out here. You know, even the instant coffee out here is better than the coffee you make like out there. I did find a Dunkin' Donuts though, and that was really relieving. Probably the only one in a third world country. You know, leave it to a New Englander to find a Dunkin' Donuts in a third world, war zone. But had some dunks yesterday actually, which was pretty cool. It made me feel like I was a little bit at home.
You're a man after my own heart. I probably too would be the one person to sniff out the donuts.
Oh yeah. It didn't taste the same, but it wasn't that far off. It's definitely a little bit different. But I found, if you know where to go, there's a Wendy's not too far from here. What else? Did I see? This was mind blowing. First day I got here, I was actually in the danger part because that's where the airport is, and one of the airports. And I found a Denny's. A legit Denny's in the middle of a war zone, and I went inside, and it was it was super busy because it's like literally the only Denny's I think in Central America, and you have to wait like an hour and a half just to get seated. Then your food takes like another. It was like a 3-4 hour process that we were there just to get Denny's, but it tasted the same. The people wore the same clothes. It was just so weird, to go from that inside a Denny's. But you do find some things out here that kind of remind you of home. It's rare, but they're there. I saw a Pizza Hut too. There's a Pizza Hut around here somewhere. So, yeah,
I bet you it's worth a 4-hour wait to get a Grand Slam breakfast when you're in Honduras.
At least, God, I just gotten off the plane. It was so worth it. It was so worth it. Yeah, I didn't care. It was a good wait. Plus, the culture shock was. I've never had a culture shock like that before in my life, and when I was sitting in that Denny's and I kept on walking outside and coming back in and walking outside just to
acclimate.
Man, am I really here right now? Am I really in this place right now? I was trying to acclimate myself by just going in and out, and just to to pinch myself to see if I'm really doing this right now, and yeah, I was really doing it. So I'm still here. So it's not a dream yet.
Oh, it's super exciting. I'm jealous. Man, you and Zach, you guys are just out traveling the world or the country. And again, here I am sitting behind my microphone.
But we need you, man.
You've made some changes. Yeah, you've made some changes yourself recently. You've taken some steps.
Oh, yeah. I sure have. I'm a bigger slave to the man than I was 3 months ago. Woo!
But you're happier, aren't you?
That's true.
I think nobody, if you're hosting a show and you're the man behind the mic, or if you're the person out in the streets doing the activism, or if you're the person making the memes, I'm a big meme maker. Like, I'll sit there for hours and make memes some nights when I'm just bored and I have really good ideas. not a big fan of them per se. Like people think that people think that they wake people up more than they actually do. I think they're more of a tool, so you don't have to type for 10 minutes this whole formula or something. You can just throw a meme at them. It's more of like a little weapon, like like a sidearm as opposed to like a rifle. So you get the meme makers, you get the people who are out in the streets, you get the people behind the microphones, you get the people, we're all playing our part. And I think we're all equally as important as the next person, because I wouldn't be able to come on your show and get my word out there if I didn't have you behind that mic, or getting up early and hopping behind that mic, or doing it again at nighttime like you do. I wouldn't have the ability to do my job if you weren't doing your job. You know what I mean? So it's all kind of like a community, together we achieve more type thing,
No, I get it. I just feel a little guilty because really I'm just hanging out with my buds here, just bullshitting, talking flat earth. We've been doing this for 3 years. I've been, researching, talking to flat earth to my girlfriend, or, sitting alone early in the morning, thinking about it, racking my brain, trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. So, I mean, it's been a part of my life for a long time, and really, it's all I do. I go to work and I come and I hang out with my my friends, and we talk about whatever, the same stuff that I'd be thinking about or researching or watching YouTube videos or whatever, only we're here talking about it and getting feedback and input. So really it's a bit of guilt because I'm just surrounding myself with people much smarter than I am and riding on their coattails. So
yeah, hey, I like I said, you're a very good personality behind the mic, and not everybody can do that. I know you just feel like it's natural to you, but I've seen people try and do it, or podcasts and stuff, and they can't. They just don't have that ability to do that. So I think you're amazing at what you do, and just keep doing it, man. Keep doing it. I love the show. That's why I'm always coming back. You guys do great. I even went through your YouTube stuff, checked out all the content, and nothing disappointed me. So
yeah, there's a lot there. We've got enough to fill it. 24/7 channel too. We just put up. Adam got situated. So we actually have Iron Realm Media running 24/7 somewhere here on YouTube.
It's supposed to be, it's gone down again, I think. It's supposed to be going up again. It's a bugger, that thing.
Shout out retracted.
Yeah.
The one thing I didn't get to check out that I wanted to ask you guys is, before the night I left, how did the show finish up with Nathan? Everything went great. I didn't get to listen to it yet or anything like that. I'm not sure if you guys even, edited it and posted it yet or whatever. But did the show end up going good the rest of the night, and how did all that stuff turn out?
First of all, the fact that you think that we edit anything is hilarious.
Yeah, thank you.
But no, it went awesome. It was a great show. Totally blew our minds. Completely and utterly left us speechless by the end of the night. It was a great show. I loved it.
It's 4 hours, wasn't it, or something? It was quite a long one, wasn't it, that one?
We used to do 4 or 5 hours, and we know that when people are scrolling through YouTube and see a 5-hour hangout, they're not about to click on it and watch 15 minutes, not even any arbitrary 15 minutes. They're just going to, that's cool, next. So we try to keep it limited to, somewhat reasonable times. But that one we just could not hang up, and that one went at least to 4 hours. It was like 4:39, I think, was the total.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I Nathan's got a lot to talk about, and definitely. I mean, this kid, he's been going so hard. Every single time I turn around, put on any type of social media, he's live in some bar on some street. Yo, let's talk about flat Earth. Hey, yeah, planes. They blah 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 blah. It's just constant go. And I mean, he's like he's talking about inspiring. You know what I mean? Like, he's waking up so many people, or he's at least planting the seeds and getting the word flat Earth out to people in such an amazing way. And he puts in so much work, and he's traveling all over the place. And I know he kind of landed in Kentucky, but he's going to be in Chicago next week. And he was just in, I don't know where he was. It was somewhere 8 hours outside of Kentucky last week. And, he's always in the downtown streets, and he's going up to homeless people, and he'll bring them like a box of granola bars one time. I laughed. I mean, this was hilarious. he brought up a box of granola bars to a homeless person just so he could have the time to flat earth the guy, you know. So he gave him like a little box, you know, of food and then flat earth the guy for like, you know, like 20 minutes. You know, we all do it different ways, and Nathan's got his own style, and I'm really happy that the show went well. I was probably on the way to the airport by the time you guys got off the air if it went that long. But yeah, that's cool. I'll have to definitely check that out when I get a spare 4 hours of time.
You're in most of it.
You know, I'll just scroll until I get where I got off, so I can. Yeah. So
you're saying about and Josh and that chatting, and look, I think the thing that's probably enabling the spread of flat earth is it isn't any one type of person or anything. And every individual, you've seen what my contributions are. They're a bit geekier. Everybody's strengths are all kind of lending in to the flat earth. We've got Anthony Riley, you know, he's doing his law stuff and the likes, you know what I mean? And everybody's strengths are chipping in, and that's what I think's the greatest thing, that we're not all trying to be a scientist of some description. We're all contributing to this cause with our own unique skills.
Exactly.
Josh is included.
Yep. I could not agree more, and that's part of the Great Awakening is that, you know, in my opinion, I always say that when I bring up any type of creation or God, but I believe God is using us uniquely through the Great Awakening. He's not using me for my mathematic abilities. You know, like I said, I've gotten a lot better at math since we started, but people like you, we need people like you're not on Facebook. You're on YouTube most of the time, right? You don't have a Facebook, if I'm not mistaken.
I've got one, but I don't look at it. It's just for being able to view stuff that people put on Twitter or through here, but mostly. But
because I'd be tagging you every time somebody confused me with a math formula. You know what I mean? So we all kind of have these abilities, and it's so true. Like we all kind of like. I don't remember when the Power Rangers or whatever it was, they would all kind of come together and make this one big fighting thing. You know what I mean? That's kind of the flat earth machine, because you're programmed from the very beginning that flat earth is something to laugh at, and everybody that believes in it is stupid. And I'll tell you what, these are not dumb people. These are very, very intelligent people. You know, I brought up, like I was bringing up Roberto Reeves. The guy spent 20 years as a mental health professional, and he had his master's in mental health, and he a nursing degree. I mean, this dude, well beyond educated, but he's also an intelligent man, and he breaks down like people's mindsets on how they could, you know, be so trapped in this cognitive dissonance of why they believe that or why they're stuck to that, you know. So that's his weapon, is how he can just word out things. It's almost like he's typing something for like a courtroom to be used in like a defense attorney or something like that. You know, that's how he'll respond to people. He'd be like, well, you know, you're boom, boom, boom. And he'll start using these words. And I'm just like, oh my God, I feel like I'm reading like a testimony in like a courtroom or something, you know, because he can write and put it together so well. And he makes these people think, you know, so like that's his weapon is how he knows the brain works, you know, or well, as much as we know about the brain, which is very little, but he's very, very intelligent on that part. And he's flat earth at 24/7, you know. And then my buddy Billy Zagiris with the engineering and the numbers and all that stuff. And he's good with that stuff and putting together little experiments. And all of you guys, all the flat earthers out there in the world, everybody listening, you know, even just the people who listen, you know what I mean? You're all playing your role. You know, you guys can enjoy the ride. We'll take on as much duty as we can to get this snowball effect rolling. And, you know, I think once we get past that anomaly
just seeing
stage,
people, you know.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, just seeing the people out there, man, it inspires us to keep going and to do more.
The growth. Yep. And I'll finish with this: is that I'm not sure if we're past that anomaly stage yet, where like because in Russia they did a study, and they're looking at like 4 million minimum flat earthers in Russia alone. They did another youth study here in the United States where it was like 17% of the kids in the schooling system don't even know what shape the Earth is. So which means they don't believe it's spherical. So flat Earth is growing. once we get past that anomaly stage, we won't know it's not like we get past it and we're like, all right, we're past it. We know we're past this stage. We won't know. We'll be long past it before we go, okay, we're past it. With that 15% of the world, or, when those numbers, because what happens is the 5%, we come out, we look like the crazy ones. We're starting to look not so crazy anymore to these people because they're seeing sheer numbers, sheer size. It's making it into mainstream. You're seeing these engineers and all these other smart, well-educated people waking up to it. So I think we're just breaking out of the anomaly stage. I think in the next year or so, we'll get a better view if we did break out of it, around now. But we're moving closer to that 15%. And then after the 15%, what happens is and they've tried to recreate this. Marketing tools, this is what I, went to school for and dealt with, was marketing. They try to recreate this because this happens a lot in marketing, or it happens only naturally. You can't recreate this staging of process, or this process with products that we buy and things that become trendy and stuff like that. You cannot physically recreate it on its own. It can only naturally happen, which is so cool. And it's happening with Flat Earth. And that's how I can relate to it through a marketing standpoint, is that once you get past that 15%, and like I said, you won't know until you're pretty good past it and the snowball's rolling. You look back and say, okay, that's when we move past it. But once you get past that 15%, now people are going to start becoming flat earthers because that's what you do. That sheep kind of turn and go towards it. Like, okay, everybody's becoming a flat earther. I guess I'm a flat earther too. Yeah, I'm a flat earther. You know what I mean? So you see, once we get past that stage in the sheer size and mass of the community, I don't like to use the word movement. I think it's more of a revolution than a movement, because I believe movements die out. But the sheer size of this revolution that's happening right now is eventually going to be the reason why the people wake up. It's not going to be me going to Honduras and risking my life. It's not going to be a YouTube channel with a great podcast. I mean, it's not going to be anything that we're doing anymore. It's just going to be, holy shit, everybody's a flat earther now. I need to start becoming a flat earther, because that's how people's minds work. They just follow into that, So that's from a marketing standpoint, and it's something like I said, you cannot recreate that type thing. That process only happens natural with products and trendy things and all that other stuff, and it's happening with Flat Earth. So I mean, wait and see. And I tell you, we're going to get so big that our job is going to be so much easier. I want to get to the point where I don't have to fly to a third world country to wake up 10,000 more people or whatever. It's just the sheer fact of how many people are awake. Will do it on its own, and that's when our work is actually paying off, and we can kind of sit back and relax and watch the world burn at that point, I guess.
Yeah, just have to answer some questions. People aren't going to be arguing with us; they're going to be asking us.
Yep.
Well, how does this work? How's that? How's this? Yeah, that's.
Yep. Then we become the shepherds.
Flat earther. Yeah, exactly. You see it with every flat earther you wake up. They have, the next time they see you, they have 1,000 questions that they want to ask you.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I can't wait till everybody's like that.
It's going to make our job so much easier. It really is. And I know that, like I've always said, I hope the internet doesn't go down if the shit really hits the fan, just so I could make a post that says, haha, I told you so. You know what I mean? Like, you should have listened to me type thing. But I mean, I think we had discussed it, before, like what was the future of Flat Earth. And I think we had a really good take on it. But I mean, only God knows what's going to happen. And pretty soon we're going to get to that point where people are just asking questions and just want to be a part of it instead of, fighting it, because like they're victims. They're not our enemy, and it's going to be a big relief on all us guys that put in all this effort, from the radio shows to the traveling to the street activism, to the mathematical formulas that work. It's going to be a weight lifted off our shoulders tremendously. So.
From days of long ago, from uncharted regions of the universe, come the legend. The legend of Voltron, defender of the universe. A mighty robot, loved by good, feared by evil. As Voltron's legend grew.
Sorry, I was much of a Power Rangers guy.
Now, wasn't Voltron the cat? the cats that came together? What was the
I
cats
think
that all
so,
came together?
Yeah, that was
That
it.
was a power.
No, that was Voltron.
I love those
Voltron?
toys when I was a little kid.
Here, I'll wait.
Oh,
I'll
man.
cue it up as soon as they get to the point where they come together, because everybody shouts out what they're doing.
This is the story of the super force of space explorers. Special and sent by the Alliance. Bring back Voltron, defender of the universe.
Copyrights.
All right. This is
That's
for
good.
discussion. Here we go. Let's do it. This is how you defeat the globe.
Zach, I have no idea what's going off, but I've been quiet for a bit because I had to do the maths on that because it was bugging me. You know, I'd kind of stumbled across it before the show, so I've done the maths on it, and it does. I stand by describing it mathematically correct, but it makes very, very little difference to the actual number. On that 10 miles, I worked it out to be 3.7 times 10 to the minus 6 feet. So, minute difference, which is odd. But I think if you do work it out the A over 2 way, it's mathematically correct. Yeah.
Sweet.
Sorry, guy. I had to sit. I've been scribbling.
I just thought of a really good meme that I'm going to make when I get off the show. Or tonight when I get some extra time. I'm going to take the Voltron guy. I'm going to put the meme makers on one arm. They're like on different arms and stuff like that, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep. 2 arms, 2 legs, head and...
Yeah, I'll have like the street activists, the meme makers, the radio show hosts, the mathematicians. I'm going to have to steal parts.
And I'll form the head.
Oh,
You
man.
can have him standing on Captain Planet's throat.
Yeah, right? Yeah, Captain Plane.
Captain Plane, that's awesome.
Oh, God.
Man.
Good stuff. Yeah. Okay, Jinx.
Yep.
You owe me a Coke.
If I ever meet you, man, I will buy you whatever you want. Any kind of drink.
We'll get a beer.
There you go.
I will say, though, the local beer here, the Local Cerveza is very, very good here. They don't have any IPAs or anything like that, but they got a lot of locally brewed, like, they kind of like, I don't want to say like are their version of Budweiser or those type of beers, but more like, like not heavy beers. And they are so delicious. There's a company called Port Royal, and it's a beer company that's made here locally, I believe in the city that I'm at or the city next door. And it's really delicious. Just want to let everybody know that. Drink some Port Royal. Yeah, crisp. It's very crisp.
Hey, Walter, now that you're back, I have a question for you.
Is he back?
Go. Yep, I'm here.
So there was a story, they made it into a movie about the guy that was running around the country making it rain for people. I think this was back during the Depression. It was supposed to have been based on a true story. I believe he was using like Orgonite energy. Am I correct in this? Does it sound familiar? Does this ring any bell? Oh, I thought for sure this.
No, not at all. I'm excited to see this now. What? Not a clue.
All right, I have to do.
Wait,
this is going to blow your mind.
They made a movie about that guy? I think we're thinking of the same person. I've heard of that person, but I didn't know they actually made a movie about it.
I'm pretty sure I remember having seen a movie about it. This guy that was running around the country making it rain. And it was like during the Depression. And then the feds came out, and the guys in the suits came out and were trying to shut him down and stop him from doing it. I saw a movie about this. What were you saying, Zach?
You're not going to believe this. When I was reading my alchemy book this morning, somebody, I was telling him about the rain following me around, and he asked me if I'd done any research into Orgonite.
Wow.
I was thinking that earlier when you asked that question.
Well, now
Wow.
I've seen videos of guys making like rainmakers, so it's almost like a big Orgonite cannon almost. It's not like a lightning rod, but it's like an anti-lightning. It's like creating the storm. It was like a big long video, but he built it and he put it up, and it was this big wrought iron thing, and it had, Orgonite worked into it somewhere with leads sticking in the bucket, and I'd have to dig around to try to find that one again too. But he waited, and sure enough, sure, he could have just been watching the weather, I guess, and just timed his video. But there's a pretty big ass storm come through, just immediately after he put up his thing. Well, maybe not immediately, but pretty quick after he did it.
Well, the whole Orgonite thing, am I saying that right? Orgonite? Is that how it's pronounced?
I think so. I think that's right.
It looks weird. It sounds weird when it rolls off the tongue. But it's actually making a huge comeback in the flat Earth community right now, because they're saying that, and I'm, like I said, I haven't looked into this, but it's on my list of things to do, and they're saying that it actually has it blocks like 5G properties and actually can help us.
I'll wear it around my neck.
Okay, so you have one around your neck. Can you get a closer look at that?
It is a bunch of little pieces of metal. There's some coils of brass. There's 2 huge moonstone crystals, and it's all inside this matrix of whatever the stuff they use, the acrylic-y, epoxy type. Look, you can see the epoxy a lot better on the back.
I have two pyramids, Walt.
That's what I was going to say, the pyramid.
Yeah, I've got 2 of them.
Those are heavy. That's for like doing the whole house, or
one upstairs, one downstairs.
Right. But yeah, this is more for like sitting in front of the computer all day long, like I do doing this stuff, and trying to keep some of it off me.
Adam, can you talk a little bit about the Orgonite and the piezoelectric effect with the crystals and that organic organic materials? Have you? I'm assuming you've done some research.
I did a little bit, and it's a lot of it's anecdotal. Is the crux of it. But it was one of those things for me where I thought, well, it's 2 nice little pyramids. They look quite nice. It's not going to do any harm to have them there, even if they don't. So I'm not like extolling the virtues of it. I've read into it, but I think looking towards real data for its validity is probably harder to find. So for me, can't do any harm, and like I said,
they've taken it off of Etsy. You can no longer sell it on Etsy.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Like it's been banned.
There used to be a Facebook group, and that was sort of their thing, where they would just make all of these little pucks of Orgonite and give them away to people, and it was your job to go throw them underneath all these towers, the cell towers, the 5G towers, and people just chuck Orgonite underneath all these things to help try to, it's supposed to counteract.
Combat.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know if it works or not either, but
I got mine years ago. Like 5 years before, for 4G. It was just as a Wi-Fi defense, just basic.
I wanted to make sure before I said this aloud that I wasn't crazy remembering this wrong, but it's the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission that has made Etsy break this down, crack down on this whole thing. So the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission will no longer allow Etsy to allow Orgonite boxes and things like that to be sold on.
Now there's a thread needs to be pulled. Somebody needs to pull the shit out of that thread. There's got to be something there. Why the hell would the Nuclear Regulatory Commission have anything to say about the selling of Orgonite on Etsy or the proliferation of Orgonite? That's weird.
Well, usually when something like that happens is when I usually jump on it, because if the government or something like that is taking something down, then there's usually a lot of truth behind it.
This story I'm looking at was August 31st, so it hasn't been that long. And this is one of the stories we threw up for a morning show, and then got sidetracked with Chad, our guest, and it just got lost in the back burner. So,
I just learned about it it was only a couple months ago, and I had seen the pyramid one, and we all know how why the pyramids are shaped like that. Well, we don't know why, but it somehow harnesses and everything works better. It's more energetic and stuff like that. And I guess somebody had sent me the Orgonite inside, or showed me these pictures of Orgonite in the pyramids, and he's like, oh, these are the ones that you want to get for your home, and he's like, make sure they're shaped like this. So like I briefly looked into it, and then since I came back out here, I had made a post about the 5G towers and got a huge response from the community. And people started throwing this Orgonite stuff back at me. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe there is something to this. So I put it on my little back burner for when I get home. And man, when I get home, I am going to go crazy researching this stuff. And if I truly feel that this is the truth and this is the thing, I'll do whatever I can to get that message out to people, as many people as I can, because we need our truth-seeking friends. Maybe we're the only ones that will protect us from, the stuff. So when they do turn on those 5G microwaves, they'll have to battle all the truthers at that point, because we'll still be saved, But yeah, definitely want to look into that. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's something I really wanted to do, especially once we got together sort of as the group here at Iron Realm Media. I mean, that's one of those things that we could make. It's really simple once you get the molds and you'll learn how to deal. It's like a fiberglass epoxy so that it actually sort of hardens and crystallizes once it sets. And that's going to have that effect on the crystals that you put into the epoxy when it's wet, and you're mixing inorganic and organic material. It's really super interesting. Again, like Adam said, everything's anecdotal, but it's interesting as all hell.
Yeah, mind blowing. Hey guys, so my wife's giving me the flag down right now. We gotta go.
Right.
Food shopping.
Don't get her mad.
Don't miss it. And don't get the old lady mad. Right. Don't miss the food.
She's a sweetheart. She's a great flat earther. And say hi to everybody. Say hi.
Hi.
Thank you so much for sharing your husband. We appreciate
so much. Right.
They say thanks for sharing me. She said you guys can
stay
have
safe
me,
over there, man.
Right. That's kind of the sentiment here. Don't worry.
God bless you. Send a lot of prayers down there your way.
Oh,
sure.
please, I need them. I plead. I trust me. I'm absorbing them. I'm feeling them coming, and people are making posts for me, and everybody's like prayers. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the energy coming my way. So I'm gonna do my best to bring back as much material as I can to wake up as many people as I possibly can and get this ball bigger. This ball rolling bigger than it already is. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Maybe we can link up when I get back. And I can kind of give you the final results on how everything went. And Seb, if you could get me something on that formula that he was talking about for the curve, that would be cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and keep us up on top of the Mick West thing, man. We definitely want to know when that goes down. We want front row tickets.
God bless, Brendon.
I'm too mean. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, mate. And keep enjoying breakfast, fella.
I will, man. I definitely will. It's still a little bit early here. It's not as late as it is over there, guys. But yeah, I'm gonna go get some shopping done. Everybody stay flat over there, and I love you guys. And I'll see you. I'll come back with some good results for you. I promise.
God bless, mate.
Yeah, we know you will, man. Love you too, man. God bless.
Awesome. Rock on, guys. I will. All right, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Love you, man.
Wow, that was awesome.
What a guy. Yeah, what a guy. Yeah, I'm going to stand up and that ovation.
That was impressive. As always. Always a good time when Brendon shows up.
Yeah, cool. Top bloke.
Yeah, talk about inspiring,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's left us empty now, isn't it? I'm going to have to look at...
Right, there's a vacuum. It's crazy, the energy he has. Amazing.
I think I've covered most of my stuff for tonight, guys. I don't know about...
Well, we had some good... Speaking of vacuums, we had some pretty good space lettuce this morning. This past week, actually.
I touched a few tidbits earlier. I told him about our moon.
Yeah, I like moon.
And then we briefly touched on the astronaut could send your kids some junk in the mail. And of course, we had to talk about Stephen Hawking's big smile as he shuffled off his mortal coil about his paper. And then, I forgot about the rinse and repeat. I fill him in on that, and then his commentary on that probably would be appropriate.
Well, I was just thinking that story about the NASA stuff. This is why I even had the swag versus schwag debate going on in my head before the show, because I've heard it both ways. When I saw those headlines talking about getting free stuff for the kid, I thought for sure in 2018 you could be able to get hats, t-shirts, stickers, bumper stickers, car decals, slippers, bathrobe. I mean, look at the KISS swag you can get. Surely NASA, in their infinite, almost bottomless effing budget, surely if they wanted to send to schools a cool little NASA sticker, they could do that. Surely if a kid took it upon himself to bust out a pen and paper in 2018, write a letter by hand, pop it in an envelope, lick a stamp, stick it on there, walk it out to the mailbox, put it in, lift up the flag, and send it. Surely they can send something better back than another letter. It's frickin' NASA. You send it back like an Oscars gift basket full of junk because you're trying to win the hearts and minds of these kids. If you're going to give them free stuff, you got to bribe the shit out of them. Send them lots of cool free stuff. Not like...
Yeah, at least a hat or some stickers or something.
Well, they did say you might get some stickers. You might get some stickers. But really, they said shoot for an autographed picture or a personalized letter sent back to you. That's the cool stuff that you can get in the mail from NASA. If you send a letter, NASA will send a letter back. The cool stuff you get from NASA is an effing pen pal. A one-time, one-off pen pal. And not a hat, not all the cool swag, not a whole effing basket of cool stuff for kids to do space stuff and brainwash them and all that good stuff. The cheap bastards. I mean,
I bet they used to do it, didn't they?
They're not spending it on CGI. They're not spending it on video effects, are they? They're not getting better Photoshop artists. No. So they're not getting swag for the kids. They're not giving us not giving us better bullshit. What are they spending all this money on? That's my question.
You know what I'm thinking, Zach? I'm thinking
Fake sand.
Josh was that kid.
Fake Martian sand.
He just got an empty envelope.
Well, there you go. It's the new. I licked the seal, so you have astronaut DNA. The bill will be the next one sent by our billing department for $81.
Yeah. Well, I will say their marketing department is on point. I don't go in a store anymore that I don't see at least 3 different T-shirt styles, men's, women's, and kids with NASA symbol everywhere. I went to the Halloween store just this last week. A friend of mine, Trippy McGee's kid and wife actually worked there. Went in, saw them. They both had to point out that there's now almost a whole little wall section of nothing but NASA, nice looking NASA jacket, patches, all the mission patches all over it. I mean, you can be an astronaut if you want to be. You don't have to go do all the art classes. Just dress the part.
That was one of the space letter stories that we didn't get to either that I'd posted. There was a story in the news in this past week, I think it's been, like the top 5 NASA costumes for Halloween. Or maybe it's the astronaut costumes for Halloween, not NASA specific, I don't think. Because I think some of them might have been fictional characters, but astronauts nonetheless. And there, yeah, I guess apparently there's a whole niche now of just BS.
And this is a callback and risking copyright strike right here. But I just sent a picture to the Skype chat we're in that I think everyone here, at least in the call, will appreciate. Some of the listeners will appreciate it if they stayed with us for a long time now. But I couldn't believe when I saw this at the store the other day. Have you got it there, Josh?
Yeah,
or whoever can share it.
Well, talking about giving stuff away, I bet you Will Smith didn't have to pay for his little NASA pajamas when he was talking to the astronaut and asked about, so what shape is the Earth? I can tell you, it's round. Ha, 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 ha. That fake ass laugh that he did. You guys saw that, right?
Oh, I don't think I did.
You didn't see Will Smith sitting in his NASA pajamas talking to the astronaut?
Oh, I do think I vaguely remember that.
I guarantee he didn't pay for any of that.
Like probably 3 or 4
They
months.
they can give the $100 million actor shit, but they can't give it away to children. Yeah, it's ridiculous. The amount of money that they get.
There we go. I'm sharing. Sharing. I am not Sharon. My name's Josh, but I'm sharing my screen. And there he is. Sunday morning coming down. Just roofied. Not sure what planet he's on. Astro Smurf. Gee, I don't know. I was just drinking my morning coffee, and all of a sudden, I'm on the moon. Happy birthday to
What's
me.
hilarious is with these pops is usually at most from a series of a movie or a cartoon or something. Usually 4. If it's a huge cast, 6 characters, that they'll make in these little pop shapes that I've seen. Of all the hundreds of shows, and of course they chose Astro Smurf. Mother Smurfers.
Yeah.
Mother Smurfers.
Smurf them. That is pretty funny. What we need is a costume of somebody that was dressed up as Astro Smurf in a spacesuit. Now, how's that for some bullshit Inception?
His Smurf hands are outside of the suit.
Well, see, they got to follow NASA. Did we have a...
They're going to get smurfing cold. But they're already blue, so...
Well, that's what happens when you have an entire village full of males and one female. They all turn...
They all just blue.
Well, they sit on the hands till it turns blue. That old trick.
Oh, that's good stuff.
I'm saying no more. I think I'm done for the evening, guys. I don't know
Right,
about
I was
you.
going to say, before we call it quits, I just want to say hey and thanks to everybody in chat. I popped in and out when I could. I was so wrapped up in what we were discussing with Brendon, I wasn't in chat nearly as much as I wanted to be, but thank you all. You make it a show unto yourselves over there in the chat sometimes. It's fun. It's amazing. I'm glad you enjoyed that little video I sent you there, Nuka-Cola.
Let's see.
Yeah, I need to start counting.
Oh, no. What'd you say? Hank is tired of counting stitches?
No, I have to start counting stitches working on these hats.
It's all work, and it's that.
I've been trying to draw up a design for your HHH, HHHH, 4 H's? Yeah, 4 H's.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you one. I got an idea.
Sweet.
HHHHH by the Nomad.
I love that. The nomad. That is just awesome.
We out plan for next week, guys.
Is it November yet?
Not quite.
No.
Nope. You got nothing planned.
The hangs have not shown up yet.
I have one guest booked. and that's not till November. But man, I'm excited for this show. This is one of those shows that I've just been waiting forever for. It was one of the first guests I did a show with Billy Ray Valentine over on the Infinite Fringe over there on TFR and Podbean and the Hacker Hameen Media Group and God, all these other Twitch affiliates and everywhere else that busy ass fella is. But Mark Devlin, I'd run across Mark Devlin before, so I was excited just to be able to get to sit in on the conversation and spend an hour chit chatting with him. And I think I knew he was flat, but I didn't realize he just didn't get that much of a chance to really discuss it. So at the couple references that I made, he jumped all over him and was super excited to talk about it. We never made the connection back then. That was probably before Ironworks. So over a year ago, which is something else I breezed over this morning and Tuesday, really, because we did hit our 1 year anniversary. Just past our 100th episode of the Ironworks, we hit our 1 year anniversary over there on Truth Frequency Radio. And it's just been an awesome
Congratulations, man. That is awesome.
Hit that soundboard. Hit that soundboard.
Couldn't have done it without you guys backing us up all the way. Don't worry. And look, we got Zack in the house now.
Yeah,
so
thank you, Chris and Cherie, for just allowing it, because without that, I don't know if I'd be here. Really. I mean, I'd be watching you guys, I'm sure, the Iron Realm, but I don't know if I'd be sitting here talking with you guys,
Well, then
TFR has been awesome.
Well, then turn out the lights. Bring on the power outage. I've got nothing left to do. My job has been fulfilled. The Ironworks has paid for itself and then some. If that's all we get is a relationship with Zachary, Too Nice for Rice, Zabala, the Nomad, Jesus, we're gonna have to start.
Nomad. I know we're gonna have like 80 nom de plumes.
First 5 minutes is just me saying Zach's names.
You guys are too good to me, I swear.
Nope. So Mark Devlin is planned for November. So hopefully a really good conversation about probably a lot. 432, Fall McCartney, Flat Earth. I mean,
I gotta go brush up on my fall stuff now.
Luckily, I still have those sound bites somewhere. Whatever that's worth. But yeah, that's not going to be till sometime in November. I've already forgotten. My calendar's not out, so it's in November. And since it's not November, we don't have anybody booked, so that's why I'm rambling now. Because
I have a couple lines out there, and don't forget that there is a person that's willing to come on at some point in time. We just have to make that work.
Oh, you're cryptic.
Oh, is that the flashback, the IRM flashback where we go old school and invite the opposition?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know who we need for that? We just need Rob. We need to make sure we get Rob lined up.
I know exactly
I bet you
what I was thinking.
Somebody who would love to just tear into somebody for a little bit, I think, would be our good friend Rob.
Let out some steam.
Yeah.
So whilst we have all this lovey-dovey vibes going on, I want to send some Rob's way because I think he needs them. Rob, we love you. We miss you. I don't care if you're just sitting on here with crickets and birds in the background. You don't have to say a damn word. We just miss having you around.
Yeah, but good to have you back, bro. Good to have you back, mate. We miss your chats and yeah, even if it was just a couple of parrots.
Right.
Yeah.
Things have been going too well. We need you to come derail this for us.
Well, there's probably a whole bunch of stuff I'm forgetting. This is one of those organizational things that I'm going to have to start working on. Something I think I can probably manage. I just need to do multiple notebooks like Walt does and just build an effing library of black and white notebooks like some serial killer, just filled with show notes.
Do it random like on Fight Club.
Yep, exactly. So, anybody got anything else? I think I'm done.
I've done nothing other than to say there's nothing wrong with show notes. So,
damn skip.
Yeah.
Well, more importantly, I need a big bulletin board on which I need to stick my permanent show notes that I can remind of things I need to make sure I do in every show that just fall by the wayside. Like, I would love to give another shout out to Flat Earth Music Television, Flat Earth MTV. Everybody needs to go over there and subscribe to that 24/7. Flat Earth Music, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Well, you know, depending on the server, like the IRM 24/7. But mostly it's 24.
Brilliant thing.
So everybody needs to go over there and sub. That's actually being managed by our good friend, Mr. Paul on the Plane, also a co-host over there on TFR.
Here's what you have to realize about that whole 24-hour Have No Sphere channel. If you saw it while it was up, you're one of the few and the proud. It's like catching a shiny or something in Pokemon. You have done a rare thing.
Yeah, it's one of those things you just need to screenshot it and just do a hashtag IRM, hashtag IRL Media, and throw it up somewhere on social media. Say, look, I found it. Spotted. Look what I saw. The elusive.
The Flat Earth Unicorn.
There's a dirty joke in there somewhere, but I'm not going to go there. Not even go there, 'cause that would be rude, crude, and sociably unacceptable. So,
wow, I haven't heard that in a while.
I'm not even going to mention it.
Oh, that's too funny. I'm looking at that Pokemon with the Iron Realm Media. You see how it has two Z's on his face?
You know, I think I have seen that.
One underneath each eye. I just noticed it. I've been looking at it for a couple hours now.
That's awesome.
That is wild.
Meant to be.
All right, gents.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. Brendon, thank you. Just sending lots of love and lots of energy, man. You just...
Yeah, prayers.
Go get them, man. Go freaking get them.
Yeah. One last shout out to Mr. Savage. Get yourself better, lad.
Savage!
Hope you feel better, bro. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know how he despises the bro.
Brother cousin. That's it. Like sister wife.
Brother cousin.
And things just went sideways.
Get us out of here, Josh.
All right.
Friday, my dude.
Love you guys.
Love you all.
Love you all out there in
God
chat.
bless.
Love y'all.
Love you guys. Love everybody in chat. Love everybody taking the time to listen to us on the replay after the fact. Just make sure you tune in next week. That's 4:20 Central Time, 10:20 Greenwich Mean Time, right here on the Iron Realm Media YouTube channel. Check out the Ironworks over on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. Just search Ironworks with an X. You'll find us. Just remember, FE works. All right, everybody. My name is Josh Gore. I'm going to get the hell out of here. Thanks, everybody. We will see you all right back here next week. Have a great rest of your day.